What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling? Okay, YouTube, we are live. Facebook, we are live. You got Charles Thomas, you got Maze Jackson, we got a Lions Den member, Sadiq.
This is an Amen Corner. Gotcha. And you don't want, in broadcast, yeah, it is, but in broadcast, you don't want to be talking to the Amen Corner. You got to talk to the bigger audience. You got to remember out there, it's 70,000 people.
Okay, y'all, hey, fix that screen a little bit. Scoot it over this way for me if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Scoot it over so I can see you. You're on camera.
Yeah, it's
Can we drag it this way or
no? It's gonna have to be over here because I gotta see it.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Yeah, it's but you don't want to talk, to the Amen Corner because we're sort of in the middle of this technology change.
Right.
We got a live Facebook audience,
Charles and
which is engaged.
Sadiq.
But we have that other audience that's driving to work and halfway paying attention, So you got to do both. You got to make sure that you are aware that the bigger audience, but this can really engage you as a host because these people are constantly talking to you. But you can't get so involved with the Amen Corner that you forget the rest of the church. And in this show, man, the church is filling up. Man, what he said yesterday, that was deep. From 70,000 to 83, that's like a 20% increase in a freaking month, man. That's amazing.
I was thinking about that yesterday.
That's amazing, man.
And I was saying to myself, that sounds like something good.
It is very good. But traditionally, I will tell you this, man, is that having worked in broadcast for 45 years, they don't like to tell you that.
No shit.
They don't want to tell you that, man, because that's money. That's money. Now, they're not in a position yet.
Hold on. Remember.
I know.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's like, that's amazing how the audience is growing here. I mean, it is, man, that is
You know how I know this audience is growing? Because I was in the gosh darn it West Loop at a white restaurant, and the black people in the restaurant was like, hey, we listen. Dude was like, I told you saw my receipt with that what's in it for the black people on it.
Yeah, but that's great. That's great. But that's anecdotal. When you start getting to the science, because he was talking analytics yesterday. That's analytics, old school analytics, in terms of cumulative audience, that kind of thing. Man, 20% in 1 month? Holy, that's incredible. Man, if that happened to Channel 7, that'd be front page news at Broadcast Weekly or whatever the trade magazine is. That'd be front page news. But I mean, we aren't in a position, this was so low, we're not in a position yet where it can be monetized yet to that point. But if you go 20% for another 6 months, by the end of the year, this dog will be making money again.
You know what, too?
End of the year.
Yesterday I was watching, before I passed out, I was watching Mike and something. It was a 30 for 30, and they were talking about, it made me think of something you talked about, which was, how every time you be fighting about the local stuff, and, when we have the debates and the relevance, and they were talking about how everybody was like, they always trying to do this national talent, and it was like they put this team together of two people. Like one guy was like an expert, like official, blah, 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 blah. And there was one guy that was the wild, crazy guy who was like all over the place. He didn't have the voice. He just was, and I was just like, damn, you know what? The instinct is to go always and be safe and be normal and do what everybody else does. But the people who win are the people who does what everybody else don't do, right? And so as we continue to do what other people don't do but are genuine in it, right? Like I was just listening, he was like, the guy talked like a New Yorker. No.
Can you share YouTube?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Somebody's got their meds today.
How does this compare with what you're used to?
Oh man, I never did anything like this.
I love when
Used to this. Man, in fact, you see me very quiet on this Facebook piece. Like I'm not writing anything, posting anything, because I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I will, but I'm learning it. But I'm not gonna go out there like when he does this Jay-Z stuff. Man, I don't know about no damn Jay-Z. But all the Madison Street people say you got to be 40 to be hip. You got to be 40. You got to know what a 40 is. Everybody wants to be 40. You see, everybody wants to be 40.
40, and if you're younger, you want to be 40.
Give me some. You got that quick. A lot of people don't get that. Even 18 years old want to be 40. They want what a 40-year-old got. Right. And a 66-year-old like me, I want that girl the 40-year-old guy got. I want the car he got. I don't want a 66-year-old man's car. I don't want a 66-year-old. Excuse me. But you know what I mean? Everybody wants to be 40.
Right.
So I listen very closely to him, even though I don't feel it. I get it, but I gotta learn it. And I'm not gonna go out here writing and being posted and doing stuff I don't know nothing about. You know what I mean? So I'm learning. You learn. And this is a different medium. And I love learning, man. I'm a learner. And I'm gonna learn it. I got more to teach him than he got to teach me. But I'm learning from the brother.
It should be.
But I'm learning from the brother because I respect where he's coming from. Because both my kids are in their 40s. And I watch them too. But I spend more time, obviously, with Maze than I do with them. So I'm learning this stuff, and I'm listening to this DJ thing, and and I gotta find out what he's talking about, because if I don't,
did he say DJ thing?
No.
Did you call Jay-Z this DJ thing?
No, I said I meant Jay-Z thing. Did I say ZJ or ZJ?
You said
but I gotta learn this out.
That's all good. We understood
but
what you meant.
But because of him, I'm actually listening to his brother Sim. I said, man, wait a minute.
All right, y'all. It's our time.
Yeah, so.
Headphones, homie. Hey, if you in this rocket shit, bro, you got to put some headphones on.
Oh, I got it.
Everybody knows. What up, Marcus? Time for thinking ahead. World has changed so very much from what it used to be. War and poverty. Whoa. Oh, teach us, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. We're the ones who's coming up, and the world is in their hands. When you teach the children, teach them the very best you can. Shadow broadcast, damn it. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. Na 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 na. The world won't get no better. We gotta change it, girl, just you and me. Wake up all the doctors, make the old people well. They're the ones who suffer and who catch all the hell. They don't have so very long before their judgment day. We'll make them happy before they pass away. Wake up all the builders, time to build a new land. I know we can do it if we all lend a hand. The only thing we have to do is put it in our minds. We'll make out they do it every time. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? The world won't get no better if we just let it be. Na 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 na. The world won't get no better. We gotta change it, girl. Just you. Good morning, Chicago. Good morning, world. This is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your main man, Maze Jackson. Got my co-pilot in the building, Charles Thomas. Charles, how you feeling this Friday morning?
Man, still trying to make Chicago great again.
Trying to make Chicago great again. Charles, I was driving down 87. I'm telling everybody now. I'm telling you all now. if you plan to use 87th Street tomorrow, you better do it at 6 a.m. or 12 o'clock, because we shutting it down. That's right, the Taste of WVON hits Lorraine Dixon Park starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow. And you know what, Charles? I think we might have a third line down the middle of 87th Street if I have my way.
Man, I don't know. I'm going to have to walk in from Stony.
Hey, man.
Something like that, because they keep telling me, you know.
We're going to tell Davita she going to have to get us some golf carts or something, because we're going to need a way to get around this joint. I'm telling you, Charles, now last year it was 40,000 people. I'm guesstimating, knowing that we got Insane Wayne and Sonya with the DJ battle, we got El DeBarge, we got Rolls Royce. It's going. You know what, Charles? I'm shooting. You know I'm shooting for the moon.
Yeah, man.
I want 100,000.
Hey, we could, you know, because there are more people. More people are getting into this WVON thing. They're coming home.
Man, they
People
coming
are coming
on
home to WVON.
WVON.
And I think we're going to see the full effect tomorrow.
We're gonna see Wayne go cry.
Oh, you think?
Does she selling tickets?
She's selling wolf tickets. Uh-oh, she got some new school for Insane Wayne. She's saying, look, I think Insane Wayne done got up out his seat. He like, hold on. Look, Insane Wayne done walked in the studio. Because, you know, I'm going to tell y'all, I come in early. And Insane Wayne, you know, he does the overnights. And Wayne has been working it out. And look, Wayne got that look. Y'all.
Wayne also got the mic. He also got the mic. Take it, Wayne.
Go ahead, Insane Wayne.
Sweet pie.
Sweet pie.
Oh, absolutely.
Miss Escobar, I'll take you.
Oh, Miss Esco. Oh, Miss Janet, if you're nasty, huh? Well, I'll tell you what, baby. I'm going to make you wish you never let them talk you into this.
Well, you see, when you're so great, they ask you to partake.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sure.
They ask.
Yeah, but you went way over your head, boo-boo. Matter of fact, I tell you what, when I leave out here, give me your mother's phone number. And I'm going to tell her I'm going to pay for your ticket back home because I'm sending you back home to your mom.
Oh, all the way to Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
And as a matter of fact, I'm going to send you on a train so you can think about it long and hard.
Lord, you know what? First of all, hold on.
That's what I got. Go, champ.
Look, champ. He calling people champ?
He's a people's champion.
Let me tell you something. Insane Wayne, you know you a big guy, bro. You are a big guy, so I'm gonna sit over here when I say this, cause you a big guy. But you know I got to rock with Sonya Escobar. You know that's my morning show musical director.
I'm rocking with Insane Wayne.
What you going with Insane Wayne?
He's gonna bring
the old folks.
Funk.
Look, cut his mic.
Straight up funk.
You might look. See, hey Sonya.
She gonna play with Charles Mike now.
Yeah, she gonna play my.
Remember the controller. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the WVON Morning Show. If you do not know, if you are not planning to be there, then you are going to be missing out. Let me tell you, tomorrow, it is the Taste of WVON. You do not want to miss Rolls Royce, the Kinsman. You got Bishop Bullwinkle with the hell to the no, and Charles's personal favorite, some
preachers ain't
it. Ladies and
I tell you what, I'm gonna give Sonya. I'm gonna give her one tip. I'll give her one because I'm a good guy.
Go ahead.
I'll give her one.
Go ahead, Insane.
The red cord goes in the.
You know what? Cut his mic.
The white cord goes in the white hole.
That's what I'm saying.
I just want you to know. I just don't, because when you see red and green, I don't want you to get all discombobulated.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Taste of WVON tomorrow. The DJ battle, right? It is going to come on right before we bring on El DeBarge. Now, you know, we've been doing all this talking, but I have not introduced, as I always do, my morning show team. Good morning to Miss Annette Flournoy. How you feeling in the newsroom? I can hear you. I can barely hear you, but you know what? We'll bring you back. Okay, Ty. Okay, well, we got you. And then, as you heard, I'm already, I'm acclaiming. It is the champion of the DJ battle. That's right, Miss Sonya Escobar. How you feeling, Sonya? You feeling aggressive?
Hey, I'm ready, baby.
She sounds a little discombobulated. I mean, she got
hey,
one track
Charles.
over
Charles,
there.
you know.
Mike cutting on and on.
You better be careful. You better be careful. You want to get that child's choice in. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, we got a member of the Lions Den sitting in with us this morning, Mr. Sadiq, Brother Sadiq. He came out, you know, he came to drop a commentary a little early. Decided he was going to hang out with us for a while, so it's good to have you in the studio with us as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I had a whole big, long script that I was going to tell you all about, but I want to make sure that you all tune in, especially at 7 o'clock, because at 7 o'clock, I keep talking about about our poor young black kids being displaced. With 1 in 4 black kids going to a failing school, why in the heck would CPS close one of the schools where the good, gifted kids go? You know, I keep thinking of Hidden Figures. You know, I keep thinking of the little girls with the ponytails and the glasses, and they working and they doing their math, and they want to take it away. So we're going to talk to the parents because, you know, we tried to reach out to the other people, but we got to be on the side of the people. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. It is the Talk Chicago, 1690 AM. We've got traffic and weather, and when we come back, the social media question of the day, it is 6:17 on the Talk Chicago. Oh, that was cool, man. That was cool. That was fun, actually. I wish I could have seen Wayne getting up out the cheddar. Wayne was like,
oh, hell
hold
no.
on, look. That nigga was like,
No.
hell to the no. And you know, Wayne, when Wayne get,
Go ahead.
when Wayne gets up, he like, and then, but he keep getting up, right? It be like, and then by the end, you like, hey Wayne, I'm on your team. Okay, I'm sorry.
I forgot what I was going to come in here for. Your animation cracking me up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a blast at the WVON Morning Show. Can you take a moment and share the broadcast? I see you on YouTube.
Don't forget about that.
Oh, we had such a good time.
Yep.
Oh, what I was going to tell you is that people who grew up.
What's up, Alfred? What's up, Raymond Hubbard? What up, Rachel? What up, Ship? Ship!
No, it is.
Because it shows that there can be a...
Ship, the bros need to come out tomorrow. I think the Pie Side Picnic is out at Lorraine Dixon.
Yeah, you're right. And you know, a lot of people who take left didn't.
Exactly.
We really didn't. We just didn't know how to get back. And sometimes we don't know how to come back. You know, but I'm blessed, man, because, you know, Lord gives me the strength to get up every morning and to do what I do and to think it through. And I don't have to go over there anymore to do that. So, hey, man, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy this. Man.
You know what? That's a blessing.
It's beautiful. It really is.
I have been blessed fundamentally in my whole entire life. Since in my entire working career, I have always been blessed to do something that I love or enjoy. I can't tell you a job that I've had that I did not enjoy. Like, even when I was at the physical plant. Like, you know what my favorite job is still to this day? McDonald's. Well, Burger King too. I still think I'll whoop a mug on making a Whopper. Mayonnaise, lettuce, 2 tomatoes, 4 pickles, 3 rings of ketchup. I still think I'll whoop a mug on making a Whopper. But I have gotten so much. I got so much enjoyment out of working at McDonald's, right? And it was like, because McDonald's had a clearly defined ladder, and it was like, man, once you learned. Man, and I'll tell you, working at McDonald's to me developed my work ethic. But I think my parents developed my work ethic because I started working at 14, right? And you think about my freshman year, my sophomore year, I was working at Burger King in Bolingbrook and then working at McDonald's in Lisle. Like, I had 2 jobs all through high school. But fast food was probably the funnest job. But I will tell you that I learned all of the basic skills of dealing with people, managing those freaking Burger Kings in Champaign. Because if you can get a black person to go clean up a bathroom after a drunk white dude done threw up in it, you can pretty much motivate people to do anything, right? But hold on. You want me to go in that bathroom and clean up after that drunk mug for $3.75 an hour? Yeah, you can kiss my ass, Maze. You can keep this job, right? But then it was the art of negotiation. That, you know, think about it. Think about what it means. You worked in fast food. You know when they say you got the bathrooms at the end of the night. I know personally too. You think about being the dude though. When they say, okay, because this used to happen to me all the time, because all the black crew workers closed, right? And like on a Friday night after the high school game, the white manager was like, oh, no, I'm not telling these niggas to go clean that bathroom. Oh, hell no. Maze, you are the crew leader. I'll be the crew leader, and the next thing, Maze, right, straight up, and I got to ride home with these dudes. But you know what my leverage was? Because when I was in Lyle, all the black people came from Bolingbrook, so they rode with me. So if you don't want to clean, how you getting home, right? Man, shout out to all my homies who I got a job at the Lyle McDonald's. Shout out to, hey man, let me tell you. There was a time when not all of them, but it was a significant Bolingbrook population that worked through the Lyle McDonald's, and they had some pretty nefarious records, boy. I used to have to explain a lot of stuff. Let's go back. We back. Carry on. Love me in a special way. What more can I say? Love me now. Love me in a special way. What more can I say? Love me now. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. That is El DeBarge. And I'm here to tell y'all tomorrow. Let me tell you, if you have not seen El DeBarge perform live, you are missing out, because El, in spite of all of the rumors, boy, when he hit that stage, and he gonna sing all the songs, all the hits. You are listening to the Talk of Chicago at 6:23 a.m. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Charles, as we do every day at 6:20, we ask the social media question of the day. And you know, Charles, I told you earlier this week I was feeling some kind of way about this whole what's in it for the black people, because you know, I was feeling a certain kind of way, but I keep getting these affirmations. And so yesterday, I was doing an interview with Forbes magazine, and I wore my what's in it for the black people shirt. And the author of the article asked me a question. He said, well, what do black people want? I was kind of like, well, I was like, peace, freedom, and justice, and the right to pursue liberty. He was like, yeah, but no, like, that all sounds good and cookie cutter, but he was like, are there tangible things that black people want? Like, how do you answer that question? So if someone said to you, what's in it for the black people, and you said, well, what do you want? How would you answer?
How would I answer?
So let's ask the question. What do black people want?
Let me answer.
Go ahead, Charles. Answer.
Reparations.
Man.
No. I know you think that's a big word, reparations. The stuff that we did not get following hundreds of years of chattel slavery, and what was taken away from us even more so during years of Jim Crow. And we need reparations. Now, I don't believe everybody should get a check. Everybody should
if everybody got a check.
But check it out. But what if our leadership, our elected officials, demanded reparations?
Where they do that at?
They do it at every level of government, every opportunity they have to demand it.
Brother,
they demand it in exchange for our participation on other issues. How about that? What if they say, well, you know, let's say the Democratic Party wants to do, let's say, sanctuary cities and states and whatever. We'll say, well, what's in it for the black people? And they say, well, unity. No. What's in it for us? What do you want to? Yeah, we'll support that. I mean, I can get with that sanctuary. But what you gonna give me in return?
Hey man, that's not right. That's you can't.
I gotta have stuff. You know, you make a deal every step along the way.
But then they call you a sellout.
Huh? No. You're not selling out. You're just basically transactional. We have to be more transactional as a group of people to get what was taken from us in the past, and we know what was taken from us. So, I mean, you know, we talk about how property taxes, black people are paying higher property taxes than any other group. And this has been confirmed over the last several weeks by reports and by whatever. Okay, so we say, okay, we want property tax relief for black people. Okay, we want jobs in the construction industry. Okay, we want that. This is what we want in exchange for, you know, in exchange for our support for this. We want what was taken from us. We want this, and we take what we don't have. What has been denied us over the years.
Charles.
What?
Man,
am I being oversimplified?
Charles, we can't get people to ask. They mad for asking what's in it for the black people. You think they gonna give you some reparations? Who asked that question?
But if we demand it in exchange for our support for whatever, then we will get it. Of course, then nobody's going to give us anything. We have to demand it. See, we've never demanded it. And now we're in political position because we have all these elective offices. We didn't have that 50 years ago.
Now I think we were better 50 years ago.
Now we have it. Now we have the elective offices to make the demands. We didn't have that 50 years ago, so we had to depend on preachers and activists absolutely begging for whatever. But if we can demand step by step what we need, I think we can get it.
Sadiq, you seem like you over there itching. You know, you got a few minutes, but Sadiq, do you have any idea what black people want? Like if somebody said, okay, you said, Mr. What's in it for the black people, what you want? Charles says reparations. I'm saying our last chance to get reparations went out the door with the last president. Because if you think white folks are cutting us a check, but you said not a check.
No check.
Now, but Charles, do you really think that you're going to be able to get the county board members to say black people need property tax relief in exchange for slavery?
In exchange for our loss. That is our loss. So
they're going to say, quantify your loss. What did you lose?
What did I lose?
They can quantify it.
They can quantify it very easily.
How can they quantify?
We don't have jobs in the construction industry.
Right.
We say to the Democratic Party, for instance, they count as their coalition the building trades unions. We say, well, if y'all want us to vote for you, then you're going to have to make up for this discrepancy in the hiring by the construction unions. If you want us to support you, we got to be transactional like that. That's all I'm saying.
You see, I think I think black people probably want some freedom. You know, they want the right to be, you know.
Why should we support prevailing wage for the construction trades and give them our votes on that issue when they don't give us any jobs? I'm saying, yeah, we'll vote for prevailing wage. Give us some jobs, and we'll vote for it. That's cool. But we're not getting that kind of transactional activity on the part of our leadership.
You know what? This is the social media question of the day. I say what's in it for the black people all the time. But somebody retorted yesterday, well, what do black people want? So I want to know from black people, if they could answer the question, what's in it for the black people, what do you want? Give us a call, 773-591-1690, post Facebook, tweet. And we will be back. Call us. It is now 6:30 on the Talk of Chicago.
Live from the WVON
So seriously though, what do black people want? Look, Jacob said they owe us a check. You know what? Let me tell you what. If they send all the brothers a check, I say this every time. If they send out reparations checks, GM would stock would rebound because it would be so many Escalades and Cadillacs. And now I'm saying that I would say free college, right? Like any black person that makes it to, you could go to a state institution for free, and when your tuition bill comes, right now they not your room and board, but the right to continue your education because of all the years that they took away.
Room and board?
Okay.
but that's something you could. I mean, reparations can come in many different ways. You can do it in all kinds of ways, but we have to be proactive about getting it. I mean, we have to say we got to make one of the political parties, for instance, say we are committed to reparations.
Can we get it in the platform?
Yeah, put it in the Democratic Party's platform. We are the party of reparations. We are the party of sanctuary. We are the party of sanctuary. So let's be the party of reparations. That's all you gotta do.
And who's gonna speak up for that?
Who's gonna? I'm saying that.
But who's gonna say? Who says that? I mean, do you think the person that carries the tax bill? You think the person that carries the cop bill? Who has the courage?
Who has the courage?
Right,
exactly.
there we go.
Who has the courage? Now I think LaShawn Ford did something.
Courage and credibility.
Whatever he did, but that's the kind of thing we have to do and get the whole Black Caucus on that and say, okay, this is what we want.
Can we make it happen in Illinois? Could we force the issue?
Well, you can start. That's how you start.
Could you force the issue though in Illinois? Like, could we say, could we put a list of demands together and demand that this is the list that we want y'all to pursue? So I was just thinking, right? So think when they took away the legislative scholarship, that really impacted black folks.
But part of the issue is we don't feed our leaders.
Yeah, but
our leaders are fed by the opposition.
True that.
So.
But here's the problem.
You're not gonna bite the hand that's feeding.
But I think that's a known premise here at this show. No, I'm saying on this show,
right.
That's a known premise. I'll put that in the given category, not the masses. Okay? But if you are watching a new industry being created, right? If you are a black legislator and you see that medical marijuana is the wave of the future, then you put 5, 10 people together, or you put them on every team so that you have a base of which to. The smartest thing that my dude told me was every black politician should make 10 black millionaires. Make 10 black millionaires, and there's your base of support. Now you ain't got to worry about these people. The problem is, again, black folks feel like their job is to keep black folks out. White boys, when they get the spot, they open the barn. They be like, come on in. That's why you got a hired truck. That's why you be like, damn, how did he get that? Because they be like, I don't care what your qualifications are. Let it be a black person. They want to see your PhD. They want to see your verification. White boys be walking in like, hey man, I just graduated from Mount Carmel. My dad's name is O'Reilly, and I'm good. And they be like, gotcha. And whatever paperwork is there, they be like, we'll make it happen. Let it be a black person. He be like, oh, excuse me, you have tickets from the city of Chicago. I can't allow you to make this. Come on, man.
Man, that's not how it works.
Here go the man.
Here go the man. Here go the man.
Here's what happens when you go to the union shop to get that job. You say, hey, I want to know when the testing is. So then your friend gives you a copy of the test. Okay? So
the man is telling us the tricks.
Then you study the answers. Then you go. You don't have to go to all the different training sessions. Then you go on test day, right? Then you pass your test somewhere 90 to 100%. In about 3 weeks, you get your little apprentice card, and then you start to go to work.
See why we got the man? He telling the man them secrets. So, look. Just before y'all go in, the man just broke down how they be hijacking our jobs. Come on, let me do the social media question like that.
A lot of people are saying reparations, but they don't want to hold and talk to you guys.
Okay.
You got to get to work.
Ready? Mm-hmm. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. It is social media question of the day. I got to get back to work, so we're going to keep it simple. I ask what's in it for the black people all the time, and yesterday somebody threw it back at me and said, what do black people want? So, the social media question of the day, black people, what do you want? Give us a call, 773-591-1690. Post to Facebook or tweet, and we will try and get your comments on the air. Out of here. Peace.
This, I just came across this story out of the Washington Post. I don't think we'll have time for it, but it's interesting as hell. Soon, too many of the congregation are getting sick with heart disease and overweight and diabetes, so the pastors are suing the American Beverage Association and Coca-Cola.
Okay.
I know.
What happened to us? That's why it's about what's in it for the black people, because we're talking about the descendants of chattel slaves. That's what we want. We want reparations for that. This isn't about minorities. This isn't about people of color. This is about what's in it for those people, those descendants of chattel slaves. How you gonna make up for that?
Who makes that distinction?
Huh?
Who makes that distinction?
We make it. We know who it is. We know who it is.
I'm playing Angels After.
Getting about what's up, me.
I mean,
We're back. We're back. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas. Whew, Sonia, you got to stop playing these songs. Look, I'm gonna be out. Y'all gonna see me on the side of the stage dancing with my wife, trying to get my, this taste of WVON might work out real good for some of you brothers. Get your ladies. You know what I'm saying? Get your ladies. Bring your chair, brothers. Carry your ladies' chair. Take it, set it up, be ready, because when L come on, get your little glass, give your lady a little nudge, and be like, get your groove on. This the taste of WVON. They said we should check the number of babies that are born 9 months from now based on this El DeBarge. Boy, it's going to be on and popping. You are listening to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas. Got one of our Lions Den members, Sadiq, sitting in with us, and we are asking the question, what do black people want? I'm always asking what's in it for the black people, but I want to know what they want.
And we have to define again who black people are. Black people are the descendants of chattel slaves. We want reparations for what happened to our ancestors after they came to this country, and they were forced into forced labor, and then they just turned us out onto America, and without anything. And we have, because of our resilience, many of us have survived quite well, but a lot of us are still suffering the legacy of chattel slavery. And we want the society to recognize what they did and to make good.
Charles?
Yes.
Based upon your definition, I'm going to get in trouble. But based upon your definition, you're explaining why our former president didn't make reparations a priority.
Maybe that's why he.
Because he's not really a descendant of chattel slavery.
Maybe that's why he did not.
Are you on this station blaspheming, man?
No, maybe he didn't understand.
So is he the first? So he was the first African American.
You know what?
president.
I've always said that in history, as this country moves forward, he might not be the first black president. He might be the first mixed race president. Because there's a movement out there where some people are saying, well, I'm not black. My mama was white, my daddy was black, but that doesn't make me black. The whole one-drop theory, if it's ever rejected, then he might not be black 100 years from now. I don't know.
Charles.
I'm talking about
I'm already in enough trouble. Right?
I'm talking about the descendants of chattel slaves.
Maybe that's why people
what do they want? What's in it for them?
Maybe that's why my boy didn't understand what's in it for the black people is. Let's go to the live lines. Lee, you are on the Talk of Chicago. Lee?
I can tell you right now what we want. And it's called justice. You want justice, and you want it in all forms. You want it when you go to trial. You don't want an all-white jury because that's not justice. You don't want a prejudiced judge because that's not justice. You just simply want a fair shake. I don't think if you can recall call in the past. We've never asked for anything but fairness. We always just simply wanted the playing field level. We could do it on our own if you just leveled the playing field. But whenever it came down to us against individuals of European descent, the playing field was never leveled. And so that's why you have now in our community backbiting, cutthroats, because most people of color have decided, look, I got to get mine. And when that kind of mentality took over, which was perpetuated by, slavery, because we were divided based on what color, how much you kowtowed, and how much you kissed up, yeah, that hurt us as well. But I think Mays and Charles is dead on as always. All we simply want, man, is what we're owed. And what we are owed is education, right? You never gave us that. You tried your best to keep us from even actually reading. Whenever we tried to open a business, you wouldn't give us loans. Whenever we wanted homes, you told us we couldn't. You redlined us. You stuck us in certain communities. So all we've ever wanted, mate, is justice. Like right now with this Laquan McDonald, let's call it duck a duck. Give us justice in this case.
Lee, I'm with you, man. And speaking of that justice, we're going to come back to Patricia
Think
Holmes.
about what they stole from us, too. Think about Black Wall Street. Think about what they took after we rebuilt it.
Rosewood, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, but I'm going to tell y'all, I think we live in, I think that anything that requires them means that we ain't getting it. But I guess maybe I'm a little crazy unless we make a demand. June, you're on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mays Jackson. What you got?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
We need a Bureau of African-American Affairs. When I say African-American Affairs, I'm talking about one section of the black people. The race is black. We got all kind of people. Barack Obama, because his father is a Kenyan, he's a black man. He's a Kenyan American. He's not an African-American. We embrace the continent Africa to recognize our slave ancestors' origin, in that we don't know what country on the continent they were removed from and brought here over 450 years ago and enslaved. When you say black, you're talking about the whole black race. There was 4 races of people: the Caucasoid, the Mongoloid, the Negroid, and the Australian Aborigine. All those people, now once the African people started to marry with other people, that black race showed up. There's no separating people, no half this and half that. It takes 46 chromosomes to make a human being.
June, you know what? That is why we got the most sophisticated audience. Now, Sadiq, you talk about these things a little bit. Any insight on that one? You gonna be quiet? Oh, now the cat got your tongue now?
No, not necessarily. The cat has my tongue, but I think it's a loaded question. I agree with Charles. What we ask for needs to be transactional, but at the end of the day, you said something that's very important, which is, we've been asking and looking for transactions for literally hundreds of years. For literally hundreds of years, but we've got to consider who we are transacting business with. The caller said we want the playing ground level. So we've got to go back, assess, and ask the question, if the playing ground hasn't been leveled now, maybe we need to reassess our tactics in leveling the ground.
I agree.
And hence,
there you go.
I think that's where we keep coming into this thing with the Democratic Party, right? I mean, Charles, we had Tom Perez on yesterday, and it was just like, wah 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 wah.
We couldn't see him, but I bet he had some papers.
He had papers, and and I think he was caught a little bit off guard, because we are really starting to get to the point of what do black people want. Black folks, these people have just taken for granted. But I'm telling you, white folks, as they start to recognize their self-interest, and I'm talking about white Democrats, they recognize that to survive, they need black people. So as we continue to ask this question, we must be prepared to give an answer. Now, to me, maybe we give an answer that does not make us reliant. I don't want them to manage us. I just want mine. Give me my piece for our 30% of the people here and let us manage it. And let us decide how we deal with it. But
the thing is, too, we never, until the Voting Rights Act, we didn't have political power in this country. That's a 50 years ago phenomenon. You know, we didn't have, even here in Chicago, in the North, as they say, we were underrepresented. We only had one congressional seat. I mean,
but we had more money, more power.
We had more people. They undercounted us. They undercounted us even here in Illinois.
Charles,
so we didn't have political power. So now we have political power. We got these 21 state reps. We got these 3 congressmen. We got the political power. Are those people making the demands on behalf of black people? That's the question.
They demanding the soda tax. Charles,
exactly.
You are tuned to the Talk Chicago.
Pop tax, they call it.
Oh, right, that's right. The pop tax. You know what the black folks, pop tax. Remember that. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM, where Charles and I like to get in trouble every day. Every day somebody is trying. We're going to need to get a new car starter, but we're going to keep bringing you the truth. It is 6:47. We'll be back after traffic and weather.
More of the morning show with Ladies Jackson.
Psychology is really an issue too. You know, most people don't know historically.
This show is pretty engaging because the poor kids probably burning down the house right now. I got to be on that 6:30.
Who is?
His kid, look, Johnson came. I just need to tell. Brother Sadiq came in. See, I know the brother from way back before he changed his name, but the brother, right? See, if
we've known each other since we were 18.
Okay, right. Okay. So look. He came in this morning, eyes all scratchy, like, man, I got to get up out of here. I got to be home by 6:30. Right? I said, you want to sit in for a minute? Yeah, I just sit in for a minute. Poor kids running around the house like, Daddy, we got to go to camp. It's about to be 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
you're like,
even
yeah, I know.
But
I had a daddy like that too.
I think some of the things that we don't discuss. So historically, after the emancipation, America had a plan to help black people, to really usher us out. And what I mean by that is they set up places in Africa like Liberia. Liberia was supposed to be a colony where they would allow blacks to leave.
Have you seen Liberia?
Because, no, but here's my point though. They thought that we would be more active in our own freedom process. And when they realized how docile we were, right, they were making plans, actually, they thought we would burn America down. If you keep a man for 400 years in slavery, and when you let him go, he don't want to even punch you in your face, or you can treat him any way you want. You can treat him any way you want to. Politically, socially, because now he's docile.
Because we took the damn high road.
We didn't take the high road.
We also didn't have the educational wherewithal to really organize ourselves to...
Well, I'm just talking about a reaction. I'm not talking about education. I'm not talking... If I hit you in your eye right now...
Share the broadcast.
Mm-hmm. Right? We're going to have an issue. I wouldn't do that.
We're going to have a fight.
We're going to have a fight.
On the floor.
But if I hit you in your eye, right, and you don't do anything, no education, no nothing, if you don't do anything, well, I know I can do anything to Charles.
Exactly.
So my point is, whether we were organized, had education, none of that. Our reaction let them know that we were basically, you know,
but we also,
we were there for the picking.
You know, I think that would be true, but I think if you, in a macro sense, but there were a lot of brothers who resisted. There were people who resisted, and they didn't get anything out of the situation because
that's true. That's
you know, they were basically beat down and murdered. Those who resisted were murdered.
And you're right.
Systematically. And the justice system allowed the murder to happen and defended and upheld the murderer.
I'm just saying psychologically, when we weren't willing to go to the mat as the masses, when they saw psychologically that we weren't, that you basically punched me in my face.
But the passive, but I have to disagree with you, Sadiq, because I don't think the passive reaction to that was the engine of American racism. It wasn't our passivity, it was their prosecution of racism that created this situation. Because a lot of us resisted.
Well,
We just got lynched.
I didn't say it
We
created.
resisted.
I didn't say it created the engine of racism. I'm just saying it's something to note inside of. Those are things to take notice of. The psychology of this, you know, missing a car, 40 acres and a mule, all of that's great. But there were some things psychologically that happened over those years
Hey, y'all.
that we just don't take account
Oh, hell
for.
no. No.
No.
Hell no. To the no. No. Come on, child.
Hell to the no. To the
No. Come on, Annette. Hell to the no. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Bishop Bullwinkle will be in the building tomorrow. That's right, the taste of WVON. I'm telling y'all, what is that a cowboy? Am I looking at a cowboy? They got the horses.
That might be the bishop. You don't know, man.
The bishop got a bicycle. I see black cowboy. It's black cowboys.
Is he on a horse?
No, it's the black. They got hats and horses, and I didn't even know it was black cowboy. They are tuning up because tomorrow, the taste of WVON. That means you got to bring the babies, bring the kids, bring the whole family, because we are going to be showing black. We're going to show the world how black Chicago gets down in peace. But ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Now, coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, you have heard us talking about this story. They are trying to close the National Teachers Academy in the South Loop to turn it into a school for maybe the white folks that are moving in and the Asians from around, and they're kicking the poor black kids out. Well, we are going to be talking to some of the parents and their legal counsel at 7 o'clock, so you do not want to miss that. But back to the social media question of the day. Charles, what do black people want? Right? I ask what's in it for the black people all the time. Yesterday, Forbes magazine said, okay, what do you want? What do you want? What is the answer? Black people, give us a call. 773-591-1690. Cedric, you're on the Talk of Chicago.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing, Charles?
Good morning.
Hey, you guys were pretty much on point when Charles brought up Reconstruction after Civil War. He's talking about when we were trying to pull ourselves up our bootstraps, as they like to call it. We were trying to rebuild things in Oklahoma. We were trying to rebuild in Rosewood, St. Louis, places in California. And a lot of the soldiers came home from World War I and saw what we had going on. They came and destroyed that. I think that's how the story went, right?
Well, that's what happened here in Chicago. Remember, there was a horrible race riot in Chicago. Started at 31st Street Beach.
So that's when he floated over in the water. I think
that's when the Klan came back and this resurgence of racism happened in America.
And it was also a time, though, when black folks got some guns, right? Because they came back from the war like, hold on. Y'all mean to tell me we've been over here fighting and y'all gonna treat us? And so they kind of push back. But, it goes back to, I think about our neighborhoods. And I say, when you say, what do black people want? We want some of them neighborhood opportunity grants, right? Is that what we want? How does what we want empower us? Right? I feel like the ask, when we talk about reparations, is there a way in reparations to give us back our neighborhoods? Is there a way for us to, as we make these demands, to start to reclaim and rebuild? I think about when we say, what do we want? What will be consistent economic generators? I'm going to tell you what I want. I want a piece of that marijuana industry, right? And I know that sounds crazy, but wealth is about to be billions and billions of dollars, and wealth is going to be created. The laws were written to keep us out of it, right? I want to be able to participate economically. Maybe some people want to participate educationally, But I think we've got to have some things that once we get them are regenerative in our own community. Let's go to the live lines. Let's go to Art. You're on the Talk of Chicago.
Hey, Mays and Ho, Charles.
Hey,
people. All right, first of all, let's dispel the fact that all life comes from black people. So when you all continue to say about somebody got white blood in them, this and that sounds ridiculous because all life comes from black people. So that don't make any sense. Second of all, I want my cash. I don't want anybody to do anything but give me personally my cash. I don't want nobody controlling that. Third of all, we don't need jobs. We need the actual industry or the business. So let's get Ford plants, Chevy plants. Let's get Toyota plants. That's what we need. We don't need nobody give us no jobs so they can turn around and 6 months get rid of us. So we actually want the business, and they should be forced to train some of my people to be able to run those industries. So that's some of the route we need to go in terms of that. You know, but it's a lot in that, but that's just a small portion. May God continue to bless.
Thank you, Art. You know what? Art, you get your bad rap, man, but I really like that. I want my cash, right? Art, you know, Art is a man after my own heart. Give me the bag. I want my bag. Give me my bag, and I will manage it for me, which is actually part of the problem because it seems like white folks, they want to piecemeal it and give it to us. I see you. Let's go to the live lines. Jeff, you're on the Talk of Chicago. Jeff, going once, going twice. Todd, you're on the Talk of Chicago.
Good morning. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
You know what? Cash is cool, but you ain't going to be doing nothing but giving it back to the very people that you this morning that you complained about. So I think what we need to do is bring the trade schools back so we can teach our kids the trade. You know, plumber, electrician, bricklaying, pouring cement, welding, underwater welding. That's the way you make your own cash. You generate your own money. Then you generate jobs. And then you generate, when the economy fails, we don't have to really worry about that too much because we got something in our, you know, in our hands that we can actually do something with. So the cash is cool, but you ain't gonna do it but giving it back to the white people.
I heard that.
You know, think about affirmative action back in the 70s. You know, there was this whole push for affirmative action. But affirmative action, if you think about it, was controlled by white folks. It was what they were willing to give us. It never had anything to do with what we demanded. We didn't set the bar for what affirmative action would be. We just took whatever it was the corporations and the government was willing to give us.
Well, you know what, Charles? I think it's something we've got to put some thought to. When we talk about what's in it for the black people, there is going to rapidly come a time when somebody's going to say, what do you want it to be?
Well,
we got to make sure we got to get the right answers. WVON listeners, you got to start thinking about it. We got to be prepared. But how is it that whatever we take, and when I say take, I mean take, whatever we take, not ask for, take. We got to make sure that it's regenerative, right? Don't take something that's a depreciating asset. We got to take something that's going to grow, that can continue to blow our community up. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago. It is 6:59. When we come back, we will talk to the parents from the National Teachers Academy. They trying to throw the poor black babies on the street. We got to help them. We'll be back after these messages.
The Talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation. 1690 WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
Hail to the known.
We're back after news.
Right.
News.
Anika
Matthews,
Latasha.
Feldman, Latasha Watkins. These are both parents of kindergartners. Anika Matthews Feldman is also an attorney. However, she's not an attorney in this realm, but she's laying the foundation with helping with this.
Okay, Chauncey, excuse me, Sadiq, I'm going to move you. Because we got to bring in these people, Anika Matthews.
Yeah, man, have a great day.
Yeah, you too. I see you every morning.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm out there.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And it'll be up next week, but I appreciate you always coming through. Todd, that's a great person. Let's figure it out. NTA, parent.
Todd, have a good one.
We'll talk soon, okay? Think of a cool title for yourself, man. You can get some business cards made up then.
Yeah, no, I got business cards, Brother Jackson.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yep, as
Thank
always.
you very much. Thank you very much. You did us proud. Hey, you coming out tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop by.
Yeah, come out. Come out at least between 4 and 6 when we're broadcasting. You know, be some look.
Okay.
All right.
Before those Trump campaign officials a year ago. So all of those questions will be waiting the president when he flies back to the United States later today.
And the president is returning from a warm reception in Paris by French President Emmanuel Macron. Trump called the Bastille Day military parade featuring French and U.S. troops magnificent.
All right. Hell to the no, 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 no. You're right, Commentator. We have been replaced by the Mexicans. That's why we got to start taking our own joints.
But you know, too, we have this movement of people around the country, around the region, around the country. We ain't gone nowhere. We still here.
I'm saying we got to start connecting.
And politically, we still have power, even in Illinois. There's still political power here. There's still a lot of people. That's why you got to reconstitute and start dealing with people in different places, different ways.
What's going on?
How you doing, Mr. Charles Thomas? Tim Jones.
What's your name, sir?
Tim Jones.
Tim, how you doing, man?
Pleasure to meet you.
Good.
What's up, Tim?
What's up, man?
How you doing, man? Good to meet you, man.
Pleasure to
I
meet you.
appreciate you.
Morning.
Thanks for coming in. So, man, we're going to have to figure out how we get everybody. It's 3 people. So you'll sit here.
Okay.
You'll sit here. And shoot. Okay, 1, 2. Yeah, we'll put you here. So Todd will figure it out. I'll just have to rotate cameras. That's all good. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. What?
Good morning, good morning.
What you doing?
So who's going to be talking the most?
We
We got 2 parents and
Really?
this loner guy.
So wait, are we
You're on
still
loan?
on?
Is that what this is? Okay. No, you don't do
Okay,
this.
okay.
Anika Matthews, you know what? Child at NTA.
Okay, so
She
we
is
go-
also
you know, we
legal
gonna-
representative at this point.
That's the point. And we gonna stay. But here's the thing.
Yeah, wait over here.
And you're
So
representing the parents.
y'all gotta tell us what's going on, and we want to stay on top of this. You know, my thing is.
Real quick, I'll invited Alderman Solis and Alderman Dowd on. Alderman Dowd did not return calls. Alderman Solis declined, but said that he would come on in the future as a guest on this topic.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right. Who is quarterbacking all of everything that's
So where in the
happening?
city do you live?
Who's
In that
the?
area?
So where?
What I was
When you
saying,
talk to like that far away, get into it, okay?
and we are, there's not just one of us. You know what I mean? You don't really, that is. We can explain it, but once we first got, we learned about this when that was one of our parents reached out.
Where you from originally? Chicago?
Oh, yes. Oh,
What
yes.
part?
CPS, West Side, North Side. And then.
How's she doing?
I've been in South to the South Side since I went to high school, so. Yeah, so.
No, you.
Excuse me, just one
Your
moment.
child
Are
is
you
in what grade?
talking to the microphone? You might be about that far away from it. Okay.
So
And
you
you'll
would be
able to
one of
hear
the
callers
ones
and your
that-
So
other
lean in,
colleagues
and what I want you to
whatever.
do
Phase in playing.
is I want you, Todd, rotate her over this way,
Little
cause
bit.
yeah, so I can get you close. Charles, can I move you more to the center? Sis, I'm sorry, you are Anika?
Anika.
Yes.
Okay, Anika, I'm
I'm
amazed.
sorry,
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Can I get you to scoot in just a little bit? And then, yep, I'm trying, because we're broadcasting on Facebook Live
Okay.
as well, so I'm trying to get you all in the shot
Okay, great.
as much as possible. Todd, can we move that computer screen? I'm going to sit here. Tim, you are going to be, I'm going to just turn to you.
Sure.
So you'll just know when I'm getting ready to come to you, I'll just turn the camera towards you. Is this somebody that we need to be looking for?
No, we're all
This
here.
is like the third.
Who is this? This is,
It's our commentator, probably.
Well, yeah.
No, well,
It's probably
yes.
our commentator.
But you know,
They know what they do.
I think
I
so.
thought that was.
He's coming from out southwest, so probably excited to be in the big city.
So you're gonna have to work it pretty. Okay, so that's a pretty good place for it.
Oh, yeah, you got a
Can
good
you
camera
see her,
angle there.
Maze?
Huh? I got all the ladies in the shot. Tim, you know, you're a dude anyway, so you be alright. We're not worried about you. We not worried about you. We get you when you come on. All right, y'all. So look, here's the deal. You all have to tell the story to the people. My thing is, all I see is that we just saw a report that said that 1 in 4 black kids go to a failing school. So we got good schools for black kids where the little smart babies are going. Then we want to make sure that we do everything to advocate for them and on behalf of them. You're not, y'all messing up my shot. Just stay where y'all.
in the shot, man.
She isn't. If you move, go back to where you were.
Seems the pole was right in her face.
If you scoot back over this way, scoot back over.
Which way?
Right now, you're fine. You remember you got a delay. Now, Charles, you got to scoot over just a little. Right, just a little bit more. Right.
Oh, I see.
You got a delay. So it's like every time you move, you got to think you got like 30 seconds, between 30 and 60 seconds before it'll show where you at. So I got all three of you all in the shot right now.
I see him now, yeah.
Right?
Got it.
So, you know, I keep having this vision of the little Hidden Figures girls, right? That opening scene where she got her glasses on and she's writing on the board, and and it just has a connotation to me. This is a school where we got young, gifted black kids, right? Like, why upset them? Why disturb? We hear all the negative stories.
Right.
Why upset? Why disturb them? So, I mean, this is your chance to really tell the people what's going on, because I think this is something that you can mobilize more than just the parents from the school on. Yeah. This is an issue. I mean, where do our kids go? I mean, I had to take my kids literally out of CPS just to know that they was going to start school on time. What happens to the people that don't have that option? Right. And shit, excuse me, heck, if you live in that area, you paying crazy property taxes, so you don't have to. It's y'all chance to tell y'all story now.
Yes.
Okay? Tell the people. Get some empathy. Are y'all coming to the Taste of VON tomorrow?
I'll be there.
I would think. The answer is yes. We're going to be at the Taste of WVON tomorrow.
Yes, you know, this area.
Now, if you want to hear what's going on.
Oh, get them some headphones. You got headphones?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, y'all, we back. I toss and turn, candlesticks in the dark, our bodies being burned. Four walls just staring at it. I'm paranoid, sleeping with my finger on the trigger. My mama's always stressing I ain't living right, but I ain't going out without a fight. See, every time my eyes close, I start sweating and blood starts coming out my nose. Watching me act. And I don't know who it is, so I'm watching my back. My mother, I don't see. Like I take a chill, B, but bust that, cause there's. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. It is 7:08 on the Talk of Chicago. Got Annette Flournoy in the newsroom. Annette, what you know about Scarface? You should have been here when we first started, because Scarface was one of our very, very first guests. Sonia.
Oh, man, homie.
Your mind playing tricks on me. You got Sonia Escobar. Sonia is practicing for tomorrow. She is going to be in the DJ battle. That's right. It is the Taste of WVON at Lorraine Dixon Park, 87th and Dauphine. Make sure you are outside. Bring the kids, bring the family. I'm telling you, I see the black cowboys warming up right now. Charles, you looked out the window. I'm telling you, we got it cracking.
I'm looking for
Charles,
cowboys, man.
Looking for cowboys. Well, Charles, I don't know, Charles. You know, this week we talked about a story that told about 1 in 4 black kids in CPS go to a failing school. You know, we were kind of like, that was really disheartening. And then when you do an overlay of the story of what's going on at the National Teachers Academy, it really starts to make me ask, is there a plan in place to a conspiracy against black kids getting educated in Chicago?
You know, when you look at, like you say, the overlay, yeah. I mean, it's working out that way. I mean, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, what is it?
What the? I don't know.
Oh, it looks like, because
what the duck, man? What
that's
the
the
duck?
bottom line effect. I mean, what do you think these parents and these children are going to do if, in fact, National Teachers Academy closes? They are going to leave the system.
Let's rewind, because you know what? I'm not sure that our listeners know exactly what we're talking about. So, Ladies and gentlemen, in the studio with us, we have Anika Matthews Feldman, Latasha Watkins, ILL, from University of Illinois, and Tim, they're both parents, and Tim Jones, who is a community advocate. You know what, I'm going to start with you, Tim. Tim, tell us what exactly is going on at National Teachers Academy.
Well, you know, I'm on the late freight for this. These parents, these teachers, this community has been involved much longer than I have. But I read an article in the Southside Weekly, June 22nd, and it was classic racing class where black people were at the bottom of a decision made by the Chicago public school system. So there's a plan to close a level 1 school in the near South Side on 22nd and Cermak that serves 80% African Americans, 80% low income. And this is a school, man, it's a resilient group of students, parents, and teachers who just 3 years ago were level 3. They fought their way back to level 1. They're 5 points away from being a level 1+ school, and the city has just came in on a white horse on behalf of
white horse.
A literal white horse on behalf of the affluent white and Asian and some black residents of South Loop to close this school and to convert it into a high school. That's flat out what it is. It is a disgrace. And I became enraged.
And where would these kids go to school if they weren't going to school there at NTA?
Well, first of all, if this happens, if this gets closed,
where would they go?
There would be no level 1+ school from Roosevelt to 43rd Street.
So they would have to go to schools that were not as good.
They would have to go to schools that are not as good.
So wait, so you mean to tell me they're going to send the kids to these? So we got kids that are at performing schools that are performing well,
right,
and they're going to take them out of the good performing schools and put them in poor performing schools, which is what we saw in the paper. But I want to talk to Miss Anika Matthews Feldman, who's a parent, and maybe you can shed some light on kind of how this whole thing happened.
Well, initially we received notification from our principal that he was at a community meeting, and it was let out at that meeting, and I do believe it was Pat Dow's meeting, that the boundaries for NTA were going to shift, meaning they were going to cut off the families that literally live right across the street in the Hillard homes, Elder Lawn Grove homes, or anyone else right away, and send them and say that you have to go to the new South Loop Elementary School.
When was that meeting?
That meeting was that meeting in April? Latasha, was that?
Well, let's introduce. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me do a better job. Let me go backwards and introduce everybody we've got in the studio. So we've got Tim Cook. Tim is the community advocate that is working with the two parents, Anika Matthews Feldman and Latasha Watkins. So those are our guests in the studio. So Latasha and Anika are both parents there. So Anika, continue.
And that was the first that our principal had heard of this.
Now, when was this again?
3 months ago.
This about 3 months ago.
Wow.
So that means no one, and this is against CPS's own policy, had discussed with anyone from NTA a boundary change that could affect its own enrollment of students. In essence, they were going to force an under-enrollment situation with NTA. At that point in time is when we also learned that action would then say, oh, well, you're under-enrolled, let's make it a high school. And their indication was, we'll move you to the new South Loop Elementary School that was going to be built, which didn't make a sense because that school was being built because of all the apparent new growth in South Loop Elementary, did not depend on NTA's student. So from the start, that doesn't make any sense.
Latasha, so explain, so let me back up, because you have kids at the school. How old are your kids? What grades?
My child just finished kindergarten at NTA. Now, let me explain a little bit about NTA. NTA is a bit of a hybrid school, and it's a very, very unique school, very different from all of the other schools within CPS. So NTA has a neighborhood component to the school, which we call High Achievers. It also has a regional gifted program, a regional gifted center within the school. That program had been moved from South Loop Elementary School several years ago because of overcrowding, and it's flourishing and doing extremely well. Likewise, the neighborhood component of the school is doing extremely well. So, for example, 100% of our 8th graders were accepted into level 1 or level 1 plus.
Wait, what? Wait. Black kids?
These are black kids who are doing extremely well and in general beating the odds that we generally see for black children in Chicago, especially during this day and time. And so it's unconscionable to me that we would think to jeopardize that by moving them or by shifting a boundary to under-enroll the school. Initially, this started as South Loop Elementary getting a new building to alleviate their overcrowding. Then it morphed into changing their boundary, moving their boundary further south, and that would effectively under-enroll NTA. We were never given new boundaries, and what that meant was we would have seven of our current students remaining in our boundary.
What? How many students are in the boundary now?
That's a good question. I don't know the number of how many.
I think it's about like 340, and yet you also understand that NTA allows also kids outside their boundary, just like South Loop Elementary, and especially kids who are able to get to a 1+ school. I mean, a level 1 school. Yes. So it's an option, right? It's an option for black kids to say, I'm in this neighborhood, but I want to come in through a program that allows me to go to a level 1 school. You remove that. You also remove that option. And mind you, CPS discussed nothing about what was going to happen to all the kids south of 22nd.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting mad.
I'm getting mad too, man.
I'm getting mad. I feel it.
Man.
It's coming from my toes. I don't know if I can go through 2 more breaks of this. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. We are talking about the miseducation of the Negro. Literally.
Yeah, we also, go ahead. I'll come back.
When we come back, we'll continue this discussion with the parents from the National Teachers Academy. It's 7:17 on the Talk of Chicago.
More of the morning show.
So let me ask y'all a question. Tell me who are the key players in what's happening. Like, tell me, I want to know who are the players. Like, who's the good, who's the bad, who's the right. Give me the players.
All right. So we have, because this is.
This is the stuff that's good for the air.
Okay, so wait.
Don't do it now.
Okay.
Because we got to talk about it on the air the first time around.
Okay, right, because I don't get.
That's where it's going. Just think about it. Don't talk about it.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Just think about it. Don't talk about it.
Right, because it's it's deep.
Okay, so
I know it's deep, but we want to hear the deep. Our audience want to hear the deep.
We want the deep.
We want the audience to hear it.
Okay. Right, and we'll hear it because we can react to it. But think about, so here's the other things I want to know, because I see the convergence, right? Mm-hmm. So Alderman Solis is doing what he's supposed to do, right? Because he's got the Chinese and he's got the South Loop, right? He
has a little part of South Loop.
But the Chinese is his advocacy that they're trying to drive there.
Right. Alderman Pat Dowell.
Who is...
Y'all gotta be cool now. Y'all gotta pace this.
Okay.
We want this stuff on the air.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You're gonna be here a minute. This is deep. When
you got an hour. Okay. I'm just telling you, most people get 15 minutes. You got an hour.
Commercials happen. Let's let the commercials happen.
Right.
So how's that weather?
So where did your child go to school before they went to NTA?
They were both in preschool. So
where was that?
My son went to Little Hands Learning Center, and then we actually moved him.
Little Hands out in
on Western.
Right.
And
he's at Taylor Beginnings.
We moved him to Taylor Beginnings to make sure he was prepared to test, and he was.
Taylor Beginnings, they be doing some work, boy.
They do
my kids did one summer there. They was like, hold it. My son was like, look, I need some sports in my life. Thank you very much. He was like. Who's Nikita Brower?
So Nikita is our community ALSC member who is very actively engaged in helping to lead this effort.
Okay.
And then Elizabeth Greer, who you'll probably see as well, is our ALSC chair.
You all should take a moment. This is probably the most, every politician is listening right now. Right now, I'm telling you. So things that need to be said. And the other part is you should share it with your your Facebook communities, your digital communities, right? Share the broadcast so that they can make the. We got to raise the awareness, right? Because black folks got to have fights at this point. We got to have fights, and it's like you got to call in some cavalry. It got to be. See, right now, as she can talk about fighting it from the ward standpoint, and she's got to deal with the white. And the fact of the matter is, as her ward continues, she's really more beholden to the white folks than the black folks. You got a quarter of the population.
We already know.
The quarter of the population is in those new. Think about the power base for Dorothy Tillman was the projects.
Yep.
The power base for Pat Dow, if she's able to hang on, is to win the white folks, right? Because she's got density going up in the north part of the ward, right? And then she puts on the south part of the ward, y'all got, what's the name of that place? The Rosenwald, where y'all spent $500 million, $356 million of city money to rebuild the Carters.
Yeah.
And they got this. You know anybody that's opening up a business on the first floor? Is this us? Woohoo! Look, driving me insane. Girl, I'm going down. I'm going down. 'Cause you ain't around, baby. My whole world's up. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. And we are talking about the National Teachers Academy. Why are they trying to? We heard that 1 in 4 black kids go to an underperforming school. Here we got a place where young scholars, our young babies are excelling, the tip top, moving forward. And it seems like the city, CPS, the elected officials are working against the poor black, not the poor black families, but the black families in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to Anika Matthews Feldman, Latasha Watkins, both parents at the National Teachers Academy, as well as Tim Jones, who is their community advocate. Now, Charles, I'm going to come back to you, but we got a caller that seems like she got something she want to say. Ladies and gentlemen, on the live line, it is our former Alderman, Dorothy Tillman. Welcome, Alderman.
Hi, Mace. How you doing?
Great.
You know, I had to call in because when I was older than myself, we re-secured the money to build that school. Ryan, myself, Daly, Matt, and Hayescott. We put together and we built the National Teacher Academy for our children. We redid the building across the street. When we redid it for seniors, we also put families in there. We saved the Dibble homes, but to understand the saving Icky homes and some other places to make sure that our children had quality education. We put a lot of resources and a lot of things in that school. I don't know what's in that school now, but it was for our children. As we was working on making sure William became another kind of school, we worked real hard because education was very important. But to hear it closing and to know what's going on, it's kind of disheartening. It's not just disheartening for the National Teachers Academy, but for all of our children across this city and across this country in terms of education. Now, I don't know whether you went, and you and Charles should take a drive, since you're at National Teachers Academy, a few blocks on Roosevelt behind the Target, where they just built that new building. I happened to go through there, and they got a brand new British school. It's a national school for white children back there, and they got that same school on the north side. The problem, and I don't know what to do. I wish I could do something to help these parents. Something has to happen, but it's not something they can do themselves. We have to balance the scale of education for our children, not just in the city of Chicago, but all over this country. But right now, especially here, and that's what I say, that we are talking about the wrong stuff every day. And we're not talking about economic education and those things that's affecting our community. And it's like nobody have no respect for the National Teacher School, our community, and nothing. And I'm not so sure that they're going to win this fight unless the whole community get behind them, because there's a benign neglect attitude toward our children when you talk about what's going on in the education system. I hope they win and I don't know what to do to help you. You said your alderman had a meeting. More or less, she has to sign off on it, and the mayor has to sign off on it. Just like if you look at the history of that school, you'll find that when it opened, Governor Ryan, myself, Daley, and Madeline Hitchcock opened that school with high expectations. So I'm sitting here very upset, but I'm not surprised because it's happening all over our community. We pay these high taxes, our schools are terrible, and each time they push us out, and they make the schools better for other people. That doesn't make any sense to me, but to the power to be, it does make sense. So I wanted you to know, and the parents to know, that we did build that school for exactly what they're talking about and what they did, the same way they've done Beasley. You know, Beasley used to be a A1 school. They took the resources out, they're letting it go down, and it's like it's not an A1 school anymore. So I don't know exactly what to do. I think the parents need to go talk to their alderman. What we did is, when we was at Mollison, you need to study it, but I don't know whether you want to go that far. We didn't take it. Now, I don't know. It's your alderman. It's the mayor. It's all of these people. You know, you can't just sit there. You can talk all you want. They don't pay no attention to your talk no more. They don't expect you to do nothing but get on Billy in and talk and go sit down. So it has to be a plan of action holistically for our children. Now, I don't know, Maze, what we're going to do about that. I got to talk to you and Charles.
So let's do this. Let's get together. Let's chop it up, because I think you got some good ideas as it relates to organizing and helping these parents do something, but we got to make a change. Let's go back to the parents. So, you know, before we went to break, I wanted to ask you all, who are the key players in this fight? I'm not just talking about on your team, everybody. Who's the good, the bad, the ugly?
Okay, so the politicians, we have the mayor.
Okay.
We have.
Whose side is he on?
He's obviously on changing it to a high school.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Then we have Alderman Pat Dow.
Whose side is she on?
She is on changing it to a high school. She has publicly said in our public hearings that she hasn't made a decision. We know she has made a decision. We know that she has supported this behind the scenes. And this has to come from initially the alderman, and it has to be presented to the mayor, and the mayor's taking it to CPS.
Who else?
Then we also have CPS, who has been very much pro, obviously, turning into a high school for absolutely no statistical reason. Then we also have PDNA, who...
What's that mean?
PDNA, break it down.
It's Prairie District Neighborhood Alliance, and they're...
The white people.
They're front very upper class, and it could be also some, you know, African Americans in there as well. And Pat Dow is very much aligned with John Jacoby. John Jacoby and Tina Felstein.
Who are they?
They are two individuals who live in South Loop who basically are on this committee, and basically they are acting, and John Jacoby personally has been pushing for basically almost a selective high school for the South Loop. For years. I mean, we're talking from Fioretti times in the alderman. We're talking 4 years from. Seems
like he's been effective, huh?
I think he finally found a kindred spirit in our mayor, and as you know, the mayor has no problem closing schools, and now they are aligned, and this is moving forward.
You know, Maze, you know, I'm getting a vibe here. These are the kinds of parents that we need in our city. They care about the kids, what's happening, they're involved, they're engaged. But if they carry this out, what are you going to do? Are you going to leave Chicago? Or are you going to stay around?
What's the point?
This kind of stuff going on. Would you leave? Because
No, because I feel like the mayor is trying to push African American families out. If you don't have
that's what I mean.
money,
so would you leave?
No, because I feel like this. If we don't stop this and hold our ground and put our stakes in and say this won't happen, he will be successful.
But if he is successful, if they close that school, what are you going to do for the education of your child?
You know, I would say for me, it is a consideration. It is a hard decision when you start to think this. From my perspective, I have played by the convoluted CPS rules. I moved my son from one preschool to a different preschool in order to be prepared to test so that he could test into an RGC. And then he's gotten into a great school where he's flourishing. It is not just about the academics, but the character building. And so I have to consider, do we stay?
Oh.
Like, I feel committed to Chicago, but...
Charles, we got.
That's my point, though, man. Is that they're driving people out of the city
on purpose, ladies and gentlemen. We got to do something, right? Look, we got these black parents. They tell these stories about us not caring about our kids. They always want to show the shooting at the school. They don't ever want to show the parents that. I mean, when you think about the investment that you all have made to get your kids, to give them a fair opportunity, and to know that the people that you elect are working against you, we got to do something. Give us a call, 773-591-1690. How can we help these parents? How can black folks stand up to stop the undereducation, the miseducation of the black child? We'll be back. It is 7:31 on Top of Chicago.
My point is, when you talk about pissing me off now, people to move out of the city. This is the way they do it. If you go back and read about how they moved Native people around this country, they did stuff like this.
Yes.
They got the good people, the middle class, to leave, so it was easy to move the people.
About how many black middle class families are leaving Chicago.
That's how. This is how they do it. This is conspiratorial.
Right.
This is how they do it.
But the most sad story is, so those families who can't afford to move out to the suburbs. Right. Now we're thinking about, we have 80% low-income family. So what do you think they're going to do? Because they
National Teachers Academy is 80%.
80% black, 80% low.
And they doing all that good stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
With black
so
kids?
let me say, the level 1 status is not based, it was based on the neighborhood achievers. You mean to tell me those teachers been busting their tail? Level 1. So now a lot of the gifted, the secret is a lot of people base their level of their school doing well based on the gifted program. Our gifted program is too young. It didn't count. So you're saying these kids and these teachers really worked hard to change themselves and to work with this education and to say, no longer we're going to even the playing field through our education. And this is the school, 80% low income, that they're coming after.
See, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Good stuff, man. This is stuff.
I didn't tell him to say it.
I know, but it's good stuff to be on the radio. See, you tell us.
I'm gonna tell it on the radio in 2 seconds.
Good, but you know that's the kind of stuff. You know that. Man,
who's on y'all team? Who is on the team of the black parents that got their kids there? Who is your advocate there?
I would say that besides us parents, the one advocate, that one person that's been receptive as a politician is Maddie Hunter. Senator Maddie Hunter has been supportive. She has been encouraging. She's the only person.
What has she done?
But none of these people have made formal statements,
Right.
though. And
That's my point. Like, everybody tell you,
Right.
oh, I got your back.
Right.
Trust me, I understand about people getting your back way back.
Yeah, so that's
Way
the
back.
that's
Yeah,
Long as it don't cause me no trouble with the man, I got you. This is how people say, I got your back.
Right.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
right.
I'm not coming. I'm not going to step up with you.
To get people to fail, they got to take all signs of success away. You know, take the success away, and you leave a failed community, and it's easy then to come in and bulldoze it and take the rest of it.
Right.
Take the rest of it.
And to your point, and we'll discuss this, later. To your point, I believe that the powers that be, in essence, the people who are against us, have really studied, and there's written in documentation how, particularly John Jacoby said, CPS needs to understand their role in urban planning. Meaning, you need to understand that if you want high-income families to stay in the city, you gotta
cleanse it.
Well, they understand it.
They understand.
This is the
Right.
algorithm that they use. So that's what's happening in Inglewood right now. It's what happened in Cabrini. It's what happened in any of these. In West Loop and South Loop. This is what they do when they are gentrifying the neighborhoods.
And right now, there's still a lot of what other people consider low income in South Loop, and they're trying to erase that through the education.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about the fact that several of the kids at NTA are from schools that had previously been closed in the third ward, and the fact that the third ward has the most closed schools of any in 2013.
Oh yeah, you got to say that.
Yeah.
You got to.
Right.
Do y'all understand? Yeah, and I'm gonna tell y'all better get a call to action. You better make sure your people know.
Yes, Dorothy Tillman said, "What can she do?" Like, we need to tell her what.
We need to tell the people what they
and
can
you're
do.
not even discussing how the kids were traumatized by this and how they overcame.
Okay, so y'all got 10 minutes to get that in on this break. Okay, so and I'm gonna say, Tim, you cool, but it's the story is with the parents.
Sure.
So it's like you all are coming out very genuine. Then we want to get to the calls. So hit your point. Then we'll go to the calls. I'm going to ask the people, how can we help these families, etc. Okay.
You really want to get them riled up, we have to have a segment on their history, because I had to review history and it is just cold.
So then can you do it in 2 minutes?
I can do it. I can do it.
Okay, so give me some background. I'm gonna come back, give me some background on the school. You're gonna give me the history. After I get a 2-minute history, I'm gonna go to calls. Right? Mm-hmm. Then after we go to calls, we'll come back, because then you got one more segment, call to action. Do you have the email addresses that we need to email? Do you have the Twitter accounts? Do you have the Facebook pages? What are the actionable steps that people, because remember, you're going to have, for this to work for you, you got to make this a black issue, because you lose as a ward issue. Mm-hmm. As a ward issue, the math doesn't work for you. These have to be everybody's kids. Everybody's got to say, they got to understand the work that, man, do you know all the hoops we jumped through to get my daughter into Skinner? Right? Like the challenge that a parent who is caring about their kids, who want to send them to CPS schools, is so freaking hard. It is. Man, you had to take a test. We was like, and I thought, and then they changed the rules so I couldn't use no connections to get her in. So then you taking test over here. Did you get into the selective enrollment? Are you in the classical? Are you in the neighborhood pro? Man, I was just like, how about this? How about you not finna have me running across the, I'll pay for tuition. Yeah. Well, let's just split tuition. But again, paying high property taxes down there, right? Because, you know, I say they believe black folks, I always say black people don't pay property taxes, right?
Exactly.
Black people don't care about their stuff.
They can pay their total tax. They won't pay that. They won't.
All right. You got to pay a pop tax after they kick your kids out. Pop tax, bag tax. While we got while the president is speaking up on. She's speaking up on the lady in the racism in Palos. Why don't you speak up on the racism? Man, please. Y'all gotta turn this into a payback. That's what an election is called. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. Hey man, you smell that? What is that cooking? Is that Harry's Gulf Shrimp? I smell Harry's Gulf Shrimp. Ladies and gentlemen, boy, they are out there getting ready for the taste of WVON. Do not want to miss it tomorrow. Lorraine Dixon Park. Charles, you keep looking out that window
I'm trying to smell the rib tip.
You said the rib tips? Did you see the cowboy on horses? Mm-hmm. Everybody, you got to be out there. Bring your kids, bring your babies. You know what? Matter of fact, y'all come out tomorrow, because we might have to do a little organizing on top of all of this. We are talking to the parents from the National Teachers Academy. And they trying to throw our Hidden Figures babies out on the street. What are we gonna do about it? Now, Anika, somebody want to give me the history of South Loop? Which one of y'all want to do it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, Latasha, give us the background.
Let me just go back. It's been going on for decades. Decades. Harold Washington was mayor. So the neighborhood started to gentrify back in the 80s, and at that time, there was a struggle between Williams School, the new South Loop Elementary School that had been built in the 80s, and really pushing students out and changing boundaries in order to move black students out of that school. This is well-documented history, and you can find it out there if you search the internet. It's also in a book called Savage Inequalities. And so this is not a new problem. What CPS is doing now, they've changed our boundary before in order to move black students from South Loop Elementary School over to NTA, and now they're moving the boundary again to justify building this new high school. The high school issue should be separated from the overcrowding issue at South Loop Elementary School. I don't advocate that any student should be in an overcrowded environment that hampers their learning. However, they can solve that problem in a number of ways that are far less costly than building a new elementary school for $65 million. How about we move NTA's boundary north to accept some of the South Loop students and alleviate the overcrowding, and that doesn't cost any money.
Well, that's because they don't want to let, them good old white folks don't want their kids being tainted by them former black kids in that school.
That's why it's 4,500 seats that sit empty between Tilden, Phillips, and Dunbar right now, because they don't want to integrate with this sinking ship called African Americans and Latino students. They just don't want to cross those lines. So instead of crossing those lines and integrating with the rest of society like all of us have to do, they get a chance to have a school built from scratch. Or in this case, let's inconvenience the black kids so that they can further build the school for themselves.
Yes. You know what, y'all? I'm about furious right now. So I have now reached the highest level of pistivity that I can have. So I'm going to,
Can you say that on the radio?
Pistivity?
Pistivity?
Yes, I think that is.
I said it just.
The pissed off of the pistivity. Let's go to the live lines. Look, y'all. Here we got black babies. Y'all saw Hidden Figures. This is a school where gifted black kids, they got the ponytails, the barrettes. They go and they writing on the board. And now the mean people want to kick our babies out on the street, send them somewhere else. Why they can't take another school? Let's go to the live lines. Katie, you're on the Talk of Chicago.
Hello?
Hello, Katie.
Hi. Yes, it's a little bit confusing, I guess, because I don't know anything about the situation that she's talking about. So I'm trying to get everything straight. The name of this present school is National Teachers Academy?
Yes. It is a CPS school.
Okay, and it's a level 1 school, and they want to get rid of the school. And what was the reason that they said they want to get rid of the school?
So they would like to convert NTA into a high school to serve the South Loop community.
Because there are no quality high schools in that neighborhood, despite having Phillips, Dunbar, Tilden, and Jones, if you want to include Jones.
So they're going to kick the black kids, the black elementary students out to supplant them with white and the Negrostocracy. Is that what you call it? Afrostocracy to displace the black kids.
And Chinatown.
And Chinese.
And remind you that our school is 80% low income. That is doing very, very well. And mind you, this will be a very small high school. So they're doing this to obtain maybe 900 seats for a high school where Dunbar has over 2,000 that they could invest in.
Tim?
Oh, yeah, so that's a great point. This school will open in, let's just say, December 2019, proposed. Before the end of the school year, it will already be at maximum utilization. They will be overcrowded before the school year even ends. So they're presenting this new proposal, this new plan it's not gonna fulfill the needs of the South Loop community, Chinatown. The entire South Loop community won't be fulfilled by this.
I think the plan is just to get rid of the colored folks, and then once they get rid of the colored folks, they can work
They'll figure it out, yeah.
You know what? That seems like it's always a plan. Cliff, you're on the Talk of Chicago 1690.
Man, I love seeing y'all on Facebook. Nice hat, Charles.
Go ahead. Come on, Cliff.
What I would like to say is that they're doing this too because parochial schools and the economy, they cannot afford to pay for all these Catholic schools. I'm talking about parents. And so therefore they bring in charter schools. So if they saw a deficiency in a public school, what they could have done is brought in experts to correct that deficiency. But they did this by design.
Cliff, I agree with you, man. I think it is a plan, and sometimes you want to say everything is a conspiracy theory, but I think it could be real. Kevin, you on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Kevin.
Good morning. Yes, good morning, everyone. How are you all?
Good morning. Come on.
I think we need to follow the dollars. I think Ron Emanuel, they have the Browner, unfortunate President Obama. They have money invested in charter schools and privatizing schools. Their money is invested in today. I think it's unfortunate you don't have a lot of civil rights organizations that have sued the city I think the reason why they have not sued the city is because a lot of them getting a kickback. They have these, after you have these alternative schools, Chicago Urban League has an alternative school, Push Excel, they have an alternative school. So this is why you don't see them in the forefront fighting this madness with the school system.
Kevin, I think you got a point. So let me ask you all this. Where's the Urban League? Where's the NAACP? Where's the good Reverend? Right? He busy with his...
Be careful now.
Okay. Well, hey, man. I'm just saying. I'm saying these are our freedom fighters. Reverend Al. Hey, Reverend Al is going to be here this weekend. Can he come over? I mean, seriously.
I think Reverend Jackson lives here.
Who's on the team? Who are the black people that have stood up and have supported you and are out here on the front lines? Look, WVON listening audience, we are getting our butts kicked in this city.
Let them answer, man.
Who's
Who
helping
are these people that do that?
I think first.
Let the lady say.
Sure.
So I would say, first and foremost, it's the parents. None of us are necessarily community advocates.
Black parents care?
We have decided that this is an important issue, not only for our children, but for all children in CPS. It's our school right now. It will be somebody else's school later. And so we do not have a politician in the forefront who has stated publicly that they are on our side and fighting with us. Pat Dow has very clearly said that she supports the plan as it's written for CPS to convert NTA into a high school, as they are also building the new elementary school for the South Loop Elementary School. We've talked and had several conversations with CPS, with the Chicago Board of Education. We do not have a person that's standing up saying, we are for you, NTA.
Ladies, can I say something? I think we should invite Alderman Dowell
to call
this station right now to let us know what her side of the story is.
So let me just say this, Charles, because when we started talking about this story, we asked to speak to both Alderman Dowell and Alderman Solis. Alderman Solis agreed to come on at a later date to discuss the topic. Alderman Dowell has not responded. I'm sure, though, that by the time we get off this show, there will be an email press release that talks about this, because we know how that works. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to the parents of the children, the concerned parents that care about that. Black parents caring about their students ready to fight out on the front lines. What are we going to do to support them? Give us a call, 773-591-1690. National Teachers Academy, they trying to close it, throw the black babies on the street. Well, I'm not having it. Let's get on this. We'll be back.
More of the morning show.
No, y'all got to make this a black issue. This coincides directly with the article. You gotta take the helicopter up and you gotta start organizing other black parents, because I will tell you that you're not the only ones that are going through things like this, and it's like you don't see it play out like this obvious.
Yes.
But if every kid is if they tell us that 1 in 4 black kids are going to a failing school, and how do you do that in the face of that report? Like, to me, if I'm a PR person, I'm taking pictures at that school. Every black kid is not failing. This is the school. Look, if I was Ron, boy, I'd be walking around with them ponytail girls and think, hey, National Teachers Academy. What? So that's your story. That's your, this kid came from Cabrini Green.
Well,
this kid came from.
That's what our ding-a-ding-ding was. Because it didn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. But you gotta have somebody complicit. And let me tell you what's gonna be so crazy about this. Black folks are so comfortable siding against black people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, them white folks ain't gonna love her next election cycle. If they got the numbers, the same dude that got the dude that she gives the school is gonna use that to run against her.
See, the other thing too, going back to something we said earlier, if you demand reparations, if that is your public position on everything,
then you're accepting.
But they ain't gonna do stuff like this. They're gonna say, well, we can't do that because Negroes, they want reparations.
Black people are.
It's a position you take.
White folk, black people, black politicians are more scared of white people than black people. Because let me tell you what they know.
Right.
Let me tell you what they know. What they know is that on election day, you gonna walk in and hit the D, and you ain't gonna remember that.
You gonna vote for the black person.
You ain't right. You ain't gonna remember. But guess what? Them white folks that she used to kick y'all out with, they are transactional. Yeah. And let me tell you, soon as they get, those high rises will be her demise. Every time she put up a tower, she is quickly moving herself out of the building.
Exactly.
Right? And so if you try to, because what's going to happen is as you do the remap, you're going to be trying to you're going to be trying to kick them white buildings out, but you done already screwed all the black people in the places that you got to pick up land. This remap is in 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you look at the population of the South, so she's got to do something to hold on to the South Loop. Yes. But the fact of the matter is, you can't win with them folks. Because they in a building.
So y'all want Maddie to sort of take a public position to sort of join the fray if she supports you? I mean, she would be...
Sonia Hunter, Representative Sonia Harper, Maddie Hunter, all of them have to make
Sonia Harper, is that...
Yeah, but so they send the poor folks in. They got to do the poor folks fight, because that's how they get they stat. I fought for the school, not that really that hard. Propose some damn legislation in. Yeah. Propose some legislation in Springfield that could be a cock block to it.
Right.
No, don't go for the. We can't be doing stuntery no more. All right, come on.
Join us at the CPS.
Yeah, we got a lot of calls, so I'm gonna go to the calls, and then we'll give you guys a close.
Okay.
You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM, and I'm gonna tell y'all, it's 90 degrees outside, but it might be 5,000 in here because I am hot. I'm hot and I'm pissed off. Excuse me. I'm at the highest level of pistivity when I hear that they are trying to throw our black babies on the streets. And, you know, I think, and I was talking to the ladies and I said, if this is a battle within the ward, black people lose because the population is going towards those high rises. This has to be a black fight. This has to be a fight bigger than just the parents at that school, because this is the system that they use to take us out. How do we stand behind black parents that are standing up for their kids? Because that's not the story we hear. All we hear is parents don't want to take care of their babies. We got to raise them at the school. Well, these parents are actively involved. Let's go to Cliff. You're on the Talk Chicago 1690. 30 seconds.
You know what? I'm enjoying y'all on Facebook, but you know, my thing is that they're doing this because these parochial schools, Catholic schools, and private schools, people can't afford to pay for these children to be schools like they used to. And if they saw problems in these schools, they should have sent them experts.
I agree, Cliff. They should have sent in some experts. But it is also true that white folks, they like, shoot, we pay all these high property taxes. Why I got to pay for a school too? But that seems like the issue for black folks. Karen, you're on the Talk Chicago. Good morning.
I just wanted to make a couple of comments. I came in late on the conversation. I feel that these mothers things. They've done everything that they should to prepare their children. I was wondering, had anyone heard of Troy Lavarier?
Yes.
Okay. Have you all contacted him?
Yes,
because
we have been in discussion with him. I actually sat in a meeting with him, and he's been very, very helpful. Because as many people may not know, that he had a son at Kellogg, and Mayor Rahm tried to close down their school as well, another high-performing black school. So you can see the trend, and they put a stop to that, and we are in our battle, and he is truly helping us and with his wife along in this fight with NTA. So yes, we have been in contact with him.
Let's go to Calvin on the Talk Chicago.
Yeah. Hello?
Calvin, you're on the Talk Chicago.
Yes, I'd like to say, first of all, you brothers are doing a terrific job. I really thank y'all. I'd like to point out a couple of inconsistencies here. One, every time we get into a fight with public schools, we stay on the state level or the city level or even on the county level. We never do like the people in Kansas City, Kansas, which was Brown versus Board of Education. The city of Chicago, those parents have rights. Most of the money that they're using is the money because of low-income people. Now, what Pat Dow want to do, Pat Dow want to give that school basically to the Chinese. She want to hand the school over to China, and they want to hand Dunbar over too later on. So those people need to file formal complaint to the Department of Education in Washington, D.C. You need to stop listening to people, keep you on local level. And I'm not surprised of Pat Dow doing stuff like this. Pat Dow is married to will have a baby by a white man. She was married to white folks. So when you're dealing with black folks who love white folks, got children by white folks, ain't got no problems with white folks, they only got a problem with black folks. And y'all gonna elect her again, y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it, and y'all hear what I'm saying. If you think I'm playing, Google it.
Calvin, you can't be talking like that, man. I'm not, I didn't have, look, I know how this is gonna go. Calvin, we appreciate your call. Let's go to Harold. We'll get some, wait, let's go, sorry. Harold, you're on the Talk of Chicago.
Where was Rahm Emanuel in the 1990s? Where was he working at? He was working at CHA. You got to go back. This is all about the regentrification of the South Lakefront region of Chicago. If they can tear down the East, tear down the L, and then rebuild it and put it in a tube at 22nd Street, right?
That's right.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah,
that's right.
That was the initial plan. Thank God for the people who organized to get the black babies in the new school that they built, but now they're coming back to switch that out. Now, the Phillips High School, Dunbar, all of that is part of taking the land. You got Michael Reese Hospital, you got the Presidential Library, you got three new bridges coming into the lakefront. They're rebuilding the infrastructure of the South Lakefront, and they don't care nothing about what class. They removing low-income and moderate-income African-Americans from prime real estate. So where is, I'm going back to, here's the question, Jim Reynolds and Mayor Rahm Emanuel, where is the Marshall Plan to stop the violence and turn our communities around and create economic empowerment specifically for African Americans on the South Lakefront region of Chicago?
Harold, I gotta stop you. First of all, I appreciate your insight. I gotta stop you. I gotta go very quickly to Nikita Brar. Nikita, I'm sorry you've been holding on for so long. She is the community rep on the local school council and an education expert. Nikita, what can the people do to help stop this from happening?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on, and I am so excited that your listeners are so jazzed about helping us out. The first thing they can do is join Chicagoans United for Equity. We're a Facebook group right now, but we meet in person, and what we do is we're a bunch of allies for all around Chicago. Now, I'm a parent, but my kid is too young to go to NTA just yet. He's only 6 months old, but he's going to go to NTA because we're not going to let it close down, and we're not going to allow the idea of integration or whatever they're arguing this plan is to displace low-income African-American students from our community, from the school, the high-quality educational environment that they're in.
Nikita,
that's not going to happen on our watch.
So, Nikita, you got less than a minute. I need you to tell people what they can do beyond going to the Facebook page.
So when they join us, Chicagoans United for Equity is working on creating an alternative plan for what they're using as the cover to displace our children. And what they're saying is, oh, there's just no high-quality high school options. That's why we got to build this new high school and all this mess. Well, the reality is there's 4,500 empty seats sitting in the high schools around National Teachers Academy, around the South Loop. Now, as Tim mentioned earlier on, the reason why people don't want to send their kids to those schools is because they fear the, integration, true integration with African American students. And that's ridiculous. So what we're planning on doing is creating high-quality programming at those other high schools that already exist that brings up the level of education for all children. We can't have a plan that only helps and only serves wealthy folks. We want to create a plan that actually is built for the children who already are at
Nikita, I gotta stop you there because my clock is up. But we're gonna stay on this story. Keep us informed. You all promise to come back. Let us know how we can be involved. We want to make sure we keep the heat on and the pressure on. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. When we come back, we got the last 2 commentator auditions plus. We're going to go back to the social media question of the day. What do black people want? It is 7:59 on the Talk of Chicago.
WVON.com.
Thank you, folks. First of all, thank you all.
The website.
That was to the Dunbar petition. You need people to sign.
What do you got? So you should give us whatever you got, right? If it's petitions, if it's, This is a fight that I would love to be a part of, right?
Right.
As far as this is a what's in it for the black people moment that we can participate in.
Absolutely.
And I think that you don't win this with the pressure of, you need to bring the pressure of the black caucus. You need to make the black pressure be felt on this issue, because you will lose an award battle. The numbers are in that area.
Right, we're not counting on Pat Dow. She was in Cuba on the dollar of PDNA through the Kick Soccer organization.
Say that again?
She was in Cuba on the dollar of PDNA's Kicks organization. Tina Felstein, part of PDNA, is a board member of Kicks. They went to Cuba. Pat Dow went with them. That tells you how closely she is with PDNA, and that's the neighborhood group that is pushing for this high school.
Because they use this Cuba for the soccer, and then they're going to do a soccer program. You know, see.
It's a huge soccer field right adjacent to
British school.
NTA.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Jones Track is on NTA's property. Jones Commercial.
It's all set up.
Guys, we got to get ready for the next segment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry, y'all. Tasha, tell Dave I said what's up.
I will.
You know what? Dave was he got the Jackie Robinson shirts for me. Right?
Yes. No, he got the.
You get the what's in it for the black people shirt? I was gonna say he got the Jackie Robinson from me too. Right. So let me just tell y'all, I seriously want to be involved in this.
Oh, you're looking at it? Oh, no, I was watching you. I heard you snickering on the mic, you know.
Getting petition signatures for these petitions. So there's one. Let me give you the.
And a matter of fact, email me.
A couple. Well, I love to give you email because to understand how to play history is how we get them. They don't realize we know the history. So when the press and a couple of news articles are probably released, here
we are definitely a
the
voice.
history
That's what we try to
of how they forced
try to be here.
the blacks out from Southwood Elementary. So they want us to go back to Southwood Elementary where it's like sending a sheep to the wolf. That's who kicked them out the first time.
Right.
And they had a plan to do that. So you send them back there, what do you think is going to happen?
Right. Kick them out. Man, I appreciate you all coming in. Man, when I tell you, so the Facebook group, but man, I'd like to come to your meetings, right? Like and help organize as well.
Right, I'd appreciate. We will let you know everything.
Thank you all for coming in. Tasha, it's good to see you. You know what? Say you can come over here because I think Mikael is watching. We got a whole bunch of U of I. She's a.
I've been posting about this.
This is good stuff. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud that you all are not laying down. Right?
It's just not an option right now. Those kids will stay at that school, and they'll have to find another option on what they want to do. So,
I mean, it's just crazy to me.
The problem is, our black folks are not like Dunbar. I would expect them to engage. There's something in this for you. Why should they be cut out of this whole situation when all this money is flowing to improve schools?
Because we don't ask this. They got us still stuck on programs.
Well, you know, we have people. We have people that are supposed to be doing that.
Man, this is Brandon.
Supposed to be.
So Brandon, how are you, man?
Brandon Barnes.
Brandon, how are you, man? Nice to meet you.
Brandon Barnes.
We realize they're trying to contaminate, but they don't really advocate.
So that's why we're putting heat on Pat now.
Brandon, how you doing?
Right. No, but you need to organize some more folks. So, like, you know, here's the thing. You should go to her human rights. Make it a human rights violation. She's the chairman of the Human Rights Committee, right? Was it Human Rights or Human Relations or one of those? But it's really about the equity and fairness of treatment of people. Right. And so my thing is, if you're supposed to be that, you need to be addressing this. So you got to wear two hats. Yes. I do understand that she's in a jam, but dang, she already gave the white people the DePaul. She gave them the hotel. She gave them all of the stuff down there. Let the poor black folks school alone. Go build somewhere else. Right. Because I'm saying she's capitulated. I get being an alderman and I understand the growing population. Mm-hmm. But at a certain point, you're going to have to make the choice. Are you black, you white? Nah, you don't want to talk about what...
And how is history going to judge that? Because to disenfranchise...
They don't care about history. They care about that trip to soccer. To Cuba. Okay, I'm sorry. One more time. Thank you. Keep me up to date on it. Share me the information. Tell me one more time, brother.
Brandon Barnes.
Brandon Barnes.
Microphone right here, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pull it to you. Yep.
All right.
You got to work it pretty close. Okay, right there.
Man, Charles, that's crazy to me though. Seriously.
This stuff happens every day, man, and you know, it's like what the brother was talking about, the plan for transformation, which he alluded to. We all said, is this a conspiracy? Is this a conspiracy? And they lied. And of course, now we know it was a conspiracy to remove 200,000 black people from the city of Chicago. That's what happened. You don't need any more proof than that. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. That's what this is. They're trying to just move people out, move black people out of the South Loop. There ain't gonna be anybody black living below 35th Street shortly. Then it's gonna go to 47th Street, then the Woodlawn when they're gonna hook it up. And then the outer ring of the city is gonna be poor people, if in fact that can, for however long that remains. They talk about extending the red line.
Paris, man.
They talk about extending the red line to get poor people into the city to do the menial work. That's what they want to do, the red line. Not to help black people get to work who live in the South Side. Oh, hell no. Come on now. Everybody know that. Man, in Inglewood, man, you look at Inglewood and you suddenly see Whole Foods, see Starbucks, and you know you got the green line right there, man. That is an easy way, easy in, easy out way for white folks to get downtown. Coming right on into DePaul, in through ITT. Because once you get over the Rhine, you're in
the land of milk and honey.
You're in the land of milk and honey again in Inglewood. If Inglewood is a separate sort of spur kind of community out there, because it's cleared out now. Inglewood is virtually cleared out. You go on blocks in Inglewood, but you've been there. Yeah, you see, it's 50 houses on the block, 40 of them are vacant. Man, that's prime real estate. People buying them for $1.
Look, if you are one of those parents at the National Teachers Academy in the South Loop area, give me a call. Give us a call. Let us know what we can do to be helpful. Look, man, we got to raise the awareness of these issues. Our people can't be fighting on their own. We got to start picking these things up. They got them parents out there feeling like they by themselves. Right? So they put those parents on the island. But we got to start connecting the black folks across the islands. Right? We got to start connecting the dots. This reconstituting of the black community, because, see, what's happening is they get you off in a corner and then they whack you. Right? So what they did was they isolated the parents at the National Teachers Academy and got them in a little small space and cut them off from communicating with the rest of black folks to help them understand how this process works. I'm going to tell you, that was enlightening for me. That was enlightening because you hear it, but like you don't really, like, and probably because in the grand scheme of things, I'm usually on the Afrostocracy side, right? Not on the Afrostocracy side, but I'm trying to get my kids in a good school, and I probably would be, if I lived in the South Loop, pushing to get my kids into whatever the best school and the best option is. But it is crazy to me to know that they are going to disenfranchise these young black kids with no regard. Like, just, how y'all just going to throw these kids? I mean, that 1 in 4, I don't know how to deal with this. Got my black. My own private dancer.
Hey Maze, have we discussed parking yet? Parking?
No.
On air? I got a couple callers asking about the parking situation.
Okay. Baby bend over, baby bend over, baby bend over, let me see you do yoga. Baby bend over, baby bend over, baby bend over, let me see you do the yoga. Flex. Flex. Crown. Never do what I'm supposed to. Bending, never breaking. And me rapping, I'ma show ya. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. And you know when you hear the yoga music, we are in the 8 o'clock stretch. That means we got an hour left. Charles, I don't know where the time went, but good Lord, I am cooking. I am on fire. I am hot. I'm angry.
Just gather it, you know, anger is best. You know, I think
the babies.
We have to be methodical.
But the babies.
Not emotional.
Charles, but they throwing the babies on the streets, man.
Methodical about dealing with this situation. Get on the phone, get on the email, get on Facebook, and start talking about it.
Y'all, let's generate it. Is that the conversation?
Some movement.
Black folks, we cannot, check this out. We cannot leave these black parents on an island. The story that they always tell us is that black parents ain't in the schools. They don't care about their kids.
What about our politicians? Maybe the other politicians who are not third ward politicians or near South Side politicians, maybe they can get involved as well.
Somebody emailed me and said,
these are their children as well. These are all of our children.
So we got to bring a black thing to this. This can't be the South Loop.
Right.
This has got to become a black issue across the whole city. 1 in 4 black kids go to an underperforming school. Here you got a school where it's successful, where the poorest black kids are doing the best, and they trying to cut them out. You know what, Charles? It is incidents like that that inspired me to become a commentator.
And you know what else? You know, we always talk about conspiracy. One of our callers alluded to it, that when they told us with the plan for transformation at CHA was not a conspiracy.
Boom.
We know now that it was.
Boom.
It was a conspiracy to remove 200,000 black people from the city of Chicago. And it worked for them because we believed them when they told us, oh, this isn't a conspiracy. They're all going to come back. We're going to rebuild them new houses. Yeah, right.
Well, Charles, we are the black community in a very strange state of affairs.
What did Malcolm say?
What did he say, man?
You've been bamboozled.
Hoodwinked, tax-linked. You've been tax-linked. Yeah, you didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on you, Charles. But that is Malcolm's commentary. But as we close out the week, we have our final 2 contestants to take me out as the commentator today. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I want to welcome Brandon Barnes to the studio. Brandon, how are you?
Good. How are you doing this morning, Maze?
You trying to take my voice with that job, man? You know what? I'm not going to even let you have no long talk because they might think about replacing me. Sonia, let's go to his commentary.
There is no such thing as a single issue struggle because we don't live single issue lives. This quote by Audre Lorde, a first-generation child of black immigrants from Grenada, lesbian, feminist, mother, warrior, poet, and librarian, is the rallying cry we, as black journalists, thought leaders, and audience members of the WVON family need during this critical time of constitutional crisis, human rights disasters, and political complexity now more than ever. But first, allow me to reintroduce myself and the privilege I occupy. My name is Brandon Barnes, a black, cis, read heteronormative, adult male, college graduate, person of faith, spouse and parent of a dual income household whom has lived in non-affluent and affluent zip codes across the Chicagoland area. And I'm here to interrupt our regularly scheduled programming of middle-class respectability politics, to hold space that centers and affirms the civil rights, civil liberties, human rights, and equal protections for black and brown working folk, student folk, queer folk, women folk, and immigrant folk as a social justice storyteller and meaning maker, mapping the edges of black life in America through art, entertainment, social innovation, and entrepreneurship. I do this work informed by black intersectional scholars, researchers, organizers, theologians, and hidden figures such as Dr. Kimberly Crenshaw, whom are building social media campaigns and public policy initiatives for our beloved community of black womanist and feminist labor that has been excluded or erased from institutional memory misogynoir, body policing, and cis sexism. So because WVON is a legacy media company and the original social media for the voice of the Negro and the voice of the nation, it is now time for a seat at the table to archive histories, document stories, and record images about intersectional identities, demographics, consumers, and constituencies relative to movement building on race, gender, sexuality, and class status in U.S. society and the global community of neighboring nations. This is Brandon Barnes saying, let's check our privilege, not each other's blackness.
Whoa!
Right on, right on.
Right on, right on,
Got them
brother.
pipes, boy. You bringing them pipes to the game.
Man, brother, you know.
Maze, you got some of your testosterone.
He got my testosterone. He got my voice. If you could just give me a half of that bass, brother, just a third of that bass, I'd be all right. Now, look, boy, that was a long commentary, and I only got a few minutes left, so I don't have a long time for you. Got a choice. I can ask you some questions, or you can try and give us a freestyle.
You can ask me some questions.
Okay, I heard that. So, did you practice with that voice? No. Tell me what was your inspiration behind, what motivated you to audition for the Commentator?
What initially motivated was your question this morning and your question you've been asking since your appearance and affiliation with WVON. What's in it for the black people, right? We always talk about black people, but which black people? Black people on the south side of Chicago, like we talked about this morning, dealing with the Teachers Association, the families that are being kind of isolated and excluded and marginalized and erased in education. How does that look in terms of education, and how does that affect students? You mentioned hidden figures. How does that affect girls who are being pushed out in schools through criminalization? There's a book by an author, Monique Morris, who talks about school push-out, the criminalization of black girls in public schools. How do those things intersect in terms of social justice, in terms of education, and those kinds of intersectional ideas?
So real quick, You got like 30 seconds. Tell the people what you do.
Okay. Well, I'm a civic-minded artist and startup entrepreneur launching a stock photography business featuring black people of color in fashion, art, and public performance space.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago. That was Brandon Barnes. He is the next to the last competitor in this audition search. Now, tomorrow we're going to be announcing the winner on the stage, so make sure you do not miss the Taste of WVON. Hey, man, put them horses away. Put those horses away. You on the Talk of Chicago. It is 8:17. We'll be back.
More of the morning show with Maze
Brandon, good job, man. Good job. That stock photography, the black stock photography, you need to leave a card, man. You need to leave a card. We probably know somebody that might need some black stock.
You know what? I can text you my card. I got one on my phone. I learned a trick, going to several self-employment and arts workshops dealing with entrepreneurship. So if I can text you one, I can do that. How about that?
Okay, here. You ain't on camera, so I don't want to say my number.
Right.
But I'll give it to you. Here you go. It's on this card.
Hey, man, give me your card, man.
Appreciate that.
You don't have one.
No, I can
You want to listen, man?
I can text it to Maze and then. Cool. Yeah.
I wanna last forever.
Yeah, what I've been trying to do is work with videography and photography as a career. I just recently graduated, so I'm trying to build in media.
What's her name?
Victoria Rowell.
Graduated from North
College.
Okay, so you want to go out and just take pictures?
No, not just take pictures. Really tell a story.
Absolutely.
Right, because I used to work for the Southern Museum.
That's the whole point, KM. That's why we got him. Hi, Shelby.
So basically,
Thank you, Shelby, for emailing your disappointment. Hey, y'all, did you all...
Brandon, I'm sorry, I gotta move you out to the next one.
Guys, you all should send a text or an email or a tweet. Maybe you should tweet. Why don't we tweet? And see, tweet goes into the universe, so it makes the issue bigger. The direct email only keeps it contained, and they can keep it. So I'm thinking maybe you should talk about it on digital and social and really start to talk about it. How do we connect the dots between these black communities that are being distracted, are being, it's easy to separate us and push us over into a corner and fight, but if we could all start connecting the dots and get into it, it'll be great. All right, y'all.
Victoria, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Good.
Mr. Thomas, Mr. Jackson.
Hi, Victoria, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Great.
It's Rowell's, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, look! She brought goodies.
What's that?
She brought goodies.
Oh, you know
she might have jumped to the top of my list.
You know, there's a trademark on that. You got a trademark.
That is actually.
Trademark.
Look, y'all, she brought goodies. She brought the whiff. Look at this. You know what? Can I tell you what? These would be great if we did these for the Bud Billiken. Could you imagine everybody with a black fan with white liftable for Bud Billiken?
Take them to church with us, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
working them fans in church, you know.
What's in it for the black people? I think Victoria, she might, you know what? I think Victoria put herself in the top 3 with me. Now, I don't, it's Chicago, man. It's Chicago. She know how to work the votes. See, let me tell you, when I used to be a precinct captain and I used to have to work the voters, right? And I had to work and I have to open up the precinct. What you always do is you bring the judges gifts, right? You bring them breakfast. You bring them some candy. You bring them a little something.
And then you steal the votes.
We didn't steal the votes. Charles, we didn't steal votes. What we did was we didn't steal
Maybe
votes.
That's why you're not working the precincts anymore.
You
didn't steal any votes.
No, I had a great relationship with my voters and my judges.
Okay. I got it.
But I'm telling y'all, she knows the game. Huh?
You should have used that out. You didn't steal any votes, so now you're not working precincts anymore.
I didn't get it. Man, I wouldn't steal votes. Come on, man. What's in that for black people?
Oh man, I gotta give her the song of the day, right? Don't I?
Right. You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, and I'm here with my main man, Charles Thomas, and we have our final competitor on the
commentator
on the commentator contest. I'm so distracted because Victoria brought me a "What's in it for the Black People" fan. She brought some swag, but she knew it was hot in here because she knew I was on fire about this National Teachers Academy. So if you hear that wave, and that is my "What's in it for the Black People" fan. But Victoria, talk to us. Tell the WVON listeners about yourself and what motivated you to try out to audition for the commentators.
I'm an attorney and also an unpublished poet, and I was motivated to apply for this commentator position because I feel that I have important things to say, unique things to say, and I believe that I should share it with the WVON community.
Let's hear what she has to share.
I'm Victoria Rouse, and I'm all riled up. Before he was elected governor, Bruce Rauner had so many black pastors backing him that I thought, aside from giving out patronage jobs, that maybe he had promised to buy new Cadillacs for all of the black pastors in Chicago, or at least contribute to the church building fund. Now the black pastors who backed Rauner are cheesing all the way to the bank, while some of their church members can't afford to buy cheese or crackers or even some generic pop to wash it all down. Illinois did not have a state budget for over 2 years. Social service agencies have been forced to shut down, and we even lost the Powerball and Mega Million lottery games. Now, what am I supposed to do with the winning numbers I got from the Kansas City Kitty and the Red Devil Dream books? The real winning numbers are 5,000 if you're a Democrat or Republican, or 25,000 if you're an independent. These are the number of ballot signatures needed to get on the ballot to run for governor of Illinois in 2018.
Ooh.
Some of y'all have over 5,000 friends on Facebook. You can spend your time collecting likes on a Photoshop photo or cute animal video on Facebook, or you can help yourself by supporting a candidate who is going to look out for your best interests. If you don't do anything to help yourself, please don't expect God to help you, and please don't ask me for any of the government cheese I've had in my freezer since the 1980s. Y'all know that's some good cheese.
Oh, now let me just say this. You know, I'm telling you.
I like you.
I like you too.
I like you.
I'm going to tell you this, right? Now, and she didn't even go over her 3 Bruce rounder limit, right? Let me just say this. Victoria. Now, I want to encourage everybody to go to the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live because, you know, you came in here and I saw, you know, I was expecting a nice church lady kind of, you know, like, so she was like, I'm about to hit you with the hammer. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to go to YouTube because she came in looking.
You gotta look, you gotta see her.
You was like, you thought, you know, I thought she was going to be all sweet and nice. She was like, you can spend your time collecting Facebook likes or get some of this government cheese. That cheese was good, though.
It was.
That was some of the best cheddar cheese.
Part of it, you know, make grilled. You ever make grilled cheese with that?
Definitely.
Victoria, but you know what? Since you have thrown me for a loop, because I'm telling you, you really did. I know people can write one commentary, but can you do it again? Let's see what you got.
Okay. First, I want to say happy holiday. July 14th is the first day of a 3-day weekend that will probably include the biggest transfer of wealth from the Black community to the Asian community during this month. Black women throughout America who are paid on the 15th of the month will transfer tons of money to Asian vendors of hair weave and extensions during this holiday weekend. When I was younger and self-appointed to the Soul Patrol, I thought that processed hair was a sign of a processed mind. Now that I'm older and no longer on the Soul Patrol, I know that this is not necessarily true. Women of all ethnic groups want to be beautiful, however they define beauty. And role play has saved many a relationship. So if a Black woman wants to look like Becky with the good hair, it's her right to do so. My complaint is about the MONEY. Too many sisters are paying for the car and home purchases of Asian vendors by buying hair weave and extensions, while Black communities are suffering. We need to boycott these vendors until we get distributorships in the hair weave business and a big piece of this billion with a B dollar pot. Boycotts have worked in other industries and will work in the hair weave industry too. No other racial or ethnic group allows outsiders to come into their community and take money out by the truckloads without making the outsiders share the wealth or give something of value back. A seamstress named Rosa, who refused to give up her bus seat, single-handedly rejuvenated the civil rights movement. Will you be the sister who does the same thing for the economic equality movement? Or will you just be one of the millions of weave-alicious sisters shipping out of the Black community in order to mimic the looks of Becky with the good hair? Yes, I know, good hair, don't care, but you should.
Now wait a minute, it's in my contract. It's in my contract that I ain't supposed to say nothing about nobody's hair. I ain't supposed to say nothing about no Black woman's hair.
Well, let's talk about
my contract.
But Charles, she said the largest transfer of, she said it's a 3-day holiday in which the largest transfer of wealth between the Black and the Asian community will occur.
Now let me, Miss Span Cooper, I ain't in it. My name is Bennett. I ain't in it.
I'm in it. I ain't in it, cause you know what?
Charles, you done been bamboozled.
I ain't in it. I ain't talking about nobody's hair weave.
Victoria.
But this is about the money.
About the money or the weave? For the money for the weave? No.
Let me tell y'all what. I think Black folks got something to say. I am convinced that after I have heard all of these commentators, I don't want to pick. I don't even want no parts of the picking. So we're going to let the man pick. Because...
And let me say something. This sister got some beautiful hair.
Oh my God. The sister... I'm telling y'all, but I'm telling you. This is the ultimate deception. Because, I mean, you came in here, oh, hi y'all. Hey everybody.
She came all school mommy and everything.
Right. She was like, man, up under that, she was like, I'm about to... Man, look, Victoria, Victoria Riles, I want to thank you because you have made my Friday.
You done riled me up.
You done got us all riled up. And I'm going to be asking about these hair weaves and this largest transfer of wealth. That right there, you said something. You said a mouthful. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our final final contestant for the commentators. If you want to know who wins, you gotta come to the Taste of WVON tomorrow. We'll be announcing the winner on the Wintrust stage. When we come back, we got a new county commissioner, man.
Hey,
we gotta talk about that.
Yes, we sure do.
That and a little bit more. It seems like we also got a Charles. It seems like they got the brother out there again.
Man.
The black man got to take the tax hit. Well, I mean, to go finance the new debt. We're gonna talk about that as well. The state's got to borrow more money even after we pass the budget. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 8:30 on the Talk Chicago. News, traffic, and weather is next. Victoria.
Like I said, we don't talk up in here.
I'm sorry if I.
Oh no, you was talking money.
Talking that weave and that money. That's radio. That's called radioactive.
That was some good stuff, though. That was good stuff. Very good. Very, very good. Man, I'm telling you, you are deceptive.
Attorney.
Attorney?
Yes.
Oh, I need you to. Who you fighting for? What kind of attorney?
Arbitration. I do mediation hearings, rather arbitration.
Where you go to law school?
New York University.
NYU?
Yes.
This is the
Really?
Yes.
Man.
You in the Cook County Bar?
No, I used to be, but I'm not in currently.
Where you from?
Get back.
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit.
You
from the D?
Detroit.
Detroit.
Detroit. You have to say it, Yvonne.
Side note.
Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah, I like Detroit.
Okay, I got checked the other day on there, and so.
Really? Travel quite a bit.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Did you feel it?
Up in Detroit.
Minimal for you. You're big.
But you know, no, but still, it was anything you noticed that's different. You know what I mean?
Hey, this didn't go up.
Then I had another employee say, "Hey, why is my check lower?" You know, and I was like, "Let me check into it." And then they're like, "Oh, that's why."
He saw me in Detroit, and he said, "Hey man, how come you come to Detroit? Don't come up here." I said, "Man, I know where you live." So he
Hit this again.
What's that?
Speak closer.
This is after going to Detroit for years and staying in hotels. I went to Detroit that morning. Then I was
You know, it comes with
when I started having dinners in his kitchen, as opposed to a hotel. It was just like the friendliest. I love the place because I rate places by the people, not by
the hotels.
Because Detroit's not the kind of place you can go and be in a hotel and then go out that night and hang out. And, you gotta know where you're going.
Right, yeah, that's true.
So, but after that, when I developed a network of friends and people. Fraternity brothers and stuff like that. I just love the place. In fact, my wife and I go to Detroit more than any other city because we have friends there now. I love the place. The churches, everything. It's just great city. Yeah, but that was very good. Because it's on point because, the topics that you chose were so on point.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have to deal with this wealth issue because, we are throwing our money away. And I'm not against any, like I said, you do whatever you want with your hair, but you should get some black money.
Control of it.
Because back in the day when people had what's called fried dye and laid to the side, black women were doing their hair. And they were making money.
Madam CJ.
Right.
Making money.
Yeah. And now it's totally going outside the community, sometimes outside of the country, and we get nothing in return.
I got you. It's been renegotiated and it's got years to go.
I don't even
So.
start there. Because people look at a nail shop, they're wearing masks.
But yeah, we would need to address that. Hopefully she'll come in before you leave and say, hey, let's make a decision. Call the other people that arrange it. The open day, press release.
Keep at it.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I'm cool with that.
Do you like places?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
You gotta be nice with voices like yours. You gotta come.
I beg your pardon? Oh, not with me, sorry.
Okay, that's all right. I don't either, so you don't have to be on that.
Okay.
Say goodbye, Maze.
Okay, bye, Maze.
Bye, thank you. Can I have the other one too?
Which one?
You gave it to me.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I'll bring you one tomorrow.
Oh, you coming out tomorrow?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, come see us at the stage.
Will do. Take care.
Hey, y'all. It's growing, guys. The movement is happening. You see this? Could you imagine? You know what? Have you ever been to Puerto Rican Day Parade?
Oh, for sure.
So, have you ever come around that corner and then it's like when you're lined up and then you come around the corner and you hit that straightaway and you just see all of those Puerto Rican flags just waving? What if we could do that with red, black, and green flags, or even what's in it for the black people
all
flags?
You need.
Just some little ones.
All you need.
What?
Buy the flags. Invest in the flags.
I think
you got to, invest in the infrastructure. You got to invest. We ain't gonna get nothing until we invest. I don't care what it is. We got to invest what we have in it, and don't wait for the white man to invest for us. Maybe the scale won't be as big, but whatever we got to invest. That's what I think.
Well, I'm down. I'm just telling you, when I turned the corner at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, bro, man, Harry said the same thing. We was just like, look at this. Like, look at all these people out here celebrating their heritage, right? And waving, and they had a buy-in. But did you read that article Salim did on me yesterday?
Who?
Salim did an article for me on me in these times.
I didn't.
I'll show it to you. But it was talking about the resurgence that black is back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey!
Oh, that's my choice.
Charles, this your son.
Got no draws on.
You got on 2 sets of headphones. You have on 2 sets.
Because I got the wrong ones. This one's the wrong one. Did what he said? Woo, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Top of Chicago 1690 AM. That is Charles's choice.
Did you listen to some of those lyrics?
Bishop Bullwinkle.
Oh my God. I got to figure that, this is going to be the last time. I don't know if that's going to make the regular playlist.
You don't think Bishop Bullwinkle
because, if you listen to those lyrics real close, you say, we definitely are pushing the envelope with they still got the FCC? Somebody.
Yeah, but Donald Trump, remember, you can grab the cooch now.
I guess
you grab them in the biscuits. So all that stuff is out the window. Now, Charles, due to overwhelming crowds that are expected to attend the Taste of WVON, the city of Chicago is closing 87th from Maryland to Greenwood. Now, I'm going to tell y'all better get here early because I got a sneaking feeling they're going to be closing it at Stoney and the Dan Ryan by the time we get through. Bishop Bullwinkle, Rolls Royce, El DeBarge, and then for those of you who will be bringing tents, I know y'all like to bring out the tents, there'll be a designated area. That means y'all cannot line them up in front of the stage so people can't see. There will be a tent area.
What about that parachute? Are you still going to parachute in? They were going to get the plane and you're going to parachute and you're going to land at Lorraine Dixon.
You know what, man? Yeah. I don't know, but I'm trying to figure out how can I make a grand entry.
Well, that way.
Charles, I'm telling you. I've been kind of like a stepchild the last few years. I'm kind of excited to be going to the Taste of WVON. I kind of, how you be sniffing around the edges because you're not sure if you really in. This time I'm going to actually get to, walk around like I know something. I'm excited.
Yeah, you got star treatment this time. You got your own little trailer.
Hey man, they're gonna give me a trailer. You know what? I need a trailer. I'm gonna have my peoples. You gonna
have your own the Stella at 42 degrees.
Oh, what you know about that Stella? We're gonna have a great time out at Lorraine Dixon Park. Charles, everybody's got to come on now. We're broadcasting live from 4 to 6, and I think our show is gonna be a zoo. Because I'm telling you, all the Chicago celebrities are coming out to come kick it with us. They want to jump on the air. We're going to give them a few moments. Man, Charles, invite some of your Hollywood friends.
Hollywood friends?
You Hollywood. You know all those people. Now, Charles, but let's get back to the business. We only got a few minutes left before this show, before we get to enjoy.
We got a lot to talk about.
Charles, yesterday, so I ran up out of here yesterday to head over to the West Side where they picked a replacement for Commissioner Robert Steele. And Charles, I'm gonna tell you, I was a little nervous going.
What's my brother's name?
Who? Dennis Deering?
Dennis Deering.
Dennis Deering was selected yesterday as the replacement to fill the balance of Commissioner Robert Steele's term about a year.
He owns it's like a drug treatment facility.
I believe he does some sort of community service, rehabilitative service.
He's a businessman.
You know what? But it's a good thing. I love to see business.
For the first time, we don't have enough business people.
I was surprised, Charles. You know what was awesome? So I went, and I'm going to tell you, there was an impressive crew of people who actually applied. It was great to see people like Keith Horton, who is he's the chief legal counsel for the treasurer. We saw who else was over there? We saw Frank Bass, who was there, who's been active in the community. This Anna Valencia's husband, Riyadh, I can't think of his last name. He actually was pretty impressive. He came in second. But I think that Dennis Deering was kind of the odds-on favorite because he was Commissioner Robert Steele's part of his organization.
I tell you what. You know why I was encouraged by what happened yesterday, and maybe it's by subtraction, but it wasn't somebody's relative. It wasn't some sitting elected official didn't get his wife, his brother, his son, his daughter. It wasn't that. It was, they didn't do the friends and family plan.
Now, Charles, I'm gonna tell you, some people tried to sneak some friends and family in there.
Did,
but then I think cooler heads prevail. I think somebody tried to sneak their boyfriend in on a sneak. But I'm gonna say this, Charles. I think that there was the intent maybe to try and do it, but I think cooler heads prevailed, and I think there was some pragmatic decisions that said, guys, if we decide to run our own family members in this current environment, I'm not sure how that will play out. And it would have set that person up for failure.
But you know what disappointed me?
What?
What disappointed me is that this fellow, Mr. Deering, says he supports the pop tax. Now, did he consult with the people of the district to come up with that position, or did he kowtow to the party?
So I'll be clear. So okay. I watched the process, Charles, and in the back of the... So, there's these public meetings, but then there's the people in the room. And I will tell you that there was a cadre of people who work for the Democratic Party who made the pop tax a litmus test for support, right? So what you saw was that they questioned every single person and said, do you support the pop tax? I'm going to tell you that could be a death knell, right? Because if you, again, I think you pointed out the point, which was who supports the pop tax?
Who did he talk to in the district? What people? You mean to tell me he came up with a majority of people who support the pop tax in that commission district?
So Charles, I'm going to tell you that I think that this brother he starts off. I mean, I think he's not going to have very much of a honeymoon, because I'm going to tell you, I believe this next political season, Charles, there's going to be, I think that the president, who would ordinarily be able to spend a lot of money to spread out, may have our own challenges, as well as you've already seen that the beverage industry is lining up candidates already. They're sending out mailers, they're selecting candidates. So this man has already put a target on his back, and with less than a year, there's not a lot you can accomplish there's not a lot to accomplish. I also am curious to see what is the base of political support for Mr. Deering. I saw some guys with some heavyweight organizations that can get out and get after it. I don't know how this turns out, Charles.
Well, the pop tax, I don't think is going to have the public. I don't think he endeared himself, no pun intended, to the public by saying he supports the pop tax, when, quite frankly, I haven't talked to anybody, regular people who do.
Well, speaking of the pop tax, there were Cook County commissioners yesterday. Was it Fritchie, Boykin, and was it Garcia?
Not Garcia.
Oh, right. It wouldn't be Garcia. So we got to figure out who the third one was. But they held a press conference yesterday to ask the president to consider some other budget cuts. She was to save the jobs. She was like, oh no, we firing all.
Yeah, she's doubling down. She's doubling down on it. But I think that if she let the courts kill it, she could, and then find some other way to save this money, then she could probably spare herself a real problem come primary and general election time, because she could basically field, a low budget challenger could basically get some traction just on that issue.
I mean, he's gonna get press, he's gonna get media. Yeah. It is just very, very unfortunate. All right, you know what? We got an interesting call on the line. Let's go to Ricky Hendon. Ricky Hendon was at the hearings yesterday. Former State Senator Ricky Hendon, welcome to the Talk of Chicago. What's going on?
Thank you, Maze. Charles.
Good morning, Ricky. How you doing, Senator?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just real quick, because I know people want to get in. Dennis Deere did make that statement that he would possibly support that tax, but he wasn't trying to get the voters vote yesterday. He was trying to get the committee's vote.
Right.
If he had said he was against the tax, Charles, he would not have got the appointment.
But see, Senator, that's one of the problems. We have politicians in the black community who are basically playing to the party and not to the people. And that seems to be a consistent problem that we're having with our black political leadership.
I don't disagree with you at all. All I'm saying is if he did not at least lean toward that position, he would not have been appointed. And if he never got appointed, he couldn't do some of the great things I know Dennis is going to do.
I feel you. I feel you on that. I mean, I understand you, but I'm saying that it's sort of illustrative of our problem.
Right, but they asked everybody that question. It was committeemen who were very firm on it. As May said, there were some commissioners who are also committeemen sitting up there, right, who voted for it. So you get up there and say, now, that doesn't mean that Dennis is necessarily going, if he hires me or Mays and we're advising him, we're going to tell him don't vote for him. Because he's got to run in a short period of time. And that's just good political science.
So you got to lie a little bit, huh? You got to lie a little bit. You got to lie here, lie there. Tell the truth there, lie here, tell the truth.
No, they don't call it lying. It's called it, we have to reconsider our position.
Test the line. Is that what it's called?
Just like you didn't talk about the weave a second ago.
Okay, touche. Touche.
Hey, Senator, go ahead.
Just keep that in mind as Dennis goes forward, and we'll see what he does when it comes up in a month or so. I think the vote is.
Hey, Senator,
you were right. It was a great bunch of people there, as well as activists there. The room was packed.
Senator, I know you're doing. Oh, he's gone. Senator, I know you're doing a radio program someplace else, but you got to come back over here and talk to our audience, man, because you got insight and experience that is what. Incomparable.
Incomparable. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Charles, we're going to wrap it up when we come back, but I do want to touch on this judge deciding to throw out the judge in this Laquan McDonald murders. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 8:47. We'll be back.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up on the Talk of
Ha! Can Ladin get passes? Did you really listen to that song? Yeah, we listened to it. That's why Charles had a nervous breakdown. I don't know if he listened to the words, but he was like, ooh, did he say eat? Did he say
know, man. He said,
hell to the no? He was like, son.
What is this guy talking about? I had never really listened to the words, man. You
Some preachers.
I just listened to the chorus line or whatever.
Some preachers ain't. Ooh, it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. All right, I gotta get out of here, go pick up the Lions Den shirts. What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling out there?
Ricky gotta come back, man. We gotta have Ricky on September. He's only on Sunday.
I know, man. I know.
Little bullshit.
You know, I call him C.I. I got a nickname for him, bro.
What you call him?
So I'm just telling you, I gotta have a sleeper when he comes.
You gotta have a what?
I talk to you off the camera. I ain't gonna do it. But you know, he tried to go in on me on the Willie Wilson thing.
No,
back in the day, I ain't tripping. We had it was epic though. We had an epic Facebook war. Boy, it was. I mean, some of the good stuff that was going in that, it was good stuff. Oh my goodness. You should. Hell to the no, no, the no, no. Hey y'all, what we gonna do about this National Teachers Academy though? To everybody that's watching, to the den, what are we gonna do to help these black parents at this school? Can we organize? Can we tweet? Can we push the envelope? Can we? See guys, they're gonna lose as a war fight. They will lose every time because they just don't have the math. The South Loop is being rebuilt for white folks. Those black kids have to be all of our kids, right? You have to think about what happens when your kid, you finally find a place to get your kid to go to a school. We got to pay all these gosh darn taxes. And so you trying not to pay taxes. I mean, not trying to have to pay for school and taxes. Y'all, I'm super fired up about this What's in it for the Black People thing. Hell to the no. To the no, no. Hell no.
Ricky said, yeah,
woo!
Ricky said,
feels like the world is on your shoulders. What's the matter? Madness has got you going crazy. It's time to get out. Get up into the streets where all of the action is right there at your feet. Now, I know a place where we can dance all night away underneath the electric stars. Come swim with me and we can join the groove right away. We'll go ahead and find once the music starts. Oh! You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas. Charles, this has been an action-packed show. I still am on fire because I want to help these and these ain't poor black kids. These are black kids that have come from some of the most challenging situations in their
But not
self.
only that, they come from, but these parents that we had here, these are the people we got to keep in the city of Chicago. These are the black people that make it happen. These are the parents, and these are the ones that will move when you keep abusing them. And this is part of, this is the conspiracy. This is where the conspiracy takes, where people take flight.
Well, Charles,
when we lose these folks, we lose.
What encouraged me though, Charles, they weren't just laying down. That they were fighting, that they were participating, that they came here, they said they're going to use this mic to get the word out.
Well, we got to support them.
Black Chicago, we have to support them. This fight for National Teachers Academy is not just those people in the South Loop. It's coming to you. It's coming to a neighborhood near you. Did you get your school together? Are the parents in your neighborhood invested? Imagine after everything that you've done to get your kids to a good school, they come and rip the skirt out rip the rug from underneath you. Why we can't? Did anybody tell me why we can't send any of these people to these black schools that they've been forcing our kids to go to? You know what, Charles? We gonna get us some freedom. Is there some freedom in that bag, black man? We gonna get some. Now, Charles, speaking of freedom, somebody said today, when we asked what do black people want, I saw it on the score, it said justice. I just want to take one moment to commend the special prosecutor Patricia Brown Holmes. You know, Charles, she took a courageous step in indicting the three officers who covered up the Laquan McDonald, who allegedly covered up. You keep me straight, man. Okay. And then she's now requested the substitution of a judge who she deemed friendly to police officers that abuse people.
She's asking for a third judge to be assigned to this case. The first judge recused herself because she's married to a cop who was an FOP official. Ooh. And then the second judge, who Patricia Holmes Brown, is Patricia Brown Holmes?
It's Patricia Brown Holmes.
Patricia Brown Holmes, once off the case, is a judge who let a cop who allegedly
Gun
put
down
the barrel
somebody's throat.
of a gun down the throat of a suspect, a black cop, by the way. Glenn Evans. She let him off. This judge that Patricia Brown Holmes wants off the case. So she's the third judge assigned. It just points up to me just how incestuous this criminal justice system is in Chicago, in Cook County, and how these are these elected judges and judges that have to go through Ed Burke to get their appointments and slatings. This is just such what a horrible mess.
Charles, can I point something out real quick for our WVON listeners? So WVON listeners, one of the things we want to do is educate you. So we want to watch this case. You want to watch the judges that have been assigned to this case. You know, I had somebody pull me to the side and they said to me, Charles, you know, in these very controversial cases, they always appoint associate judges. Now, Charles, why are associate judges important?
Because they don't have to stand for re-election.
Because they do
some
not
controversial stuff and get away with it.
Get away with it and never have to face the voters. So you know what? I think in this Laquan McDonald situation, we need to be asking for them to appoint a judge that will have to be reckoned by the people.
You know, Mays, when you do the What for the Black People Voters Guide, and you run down the real deal on judges, man, that is the most valuable thing that has ever happened in Cook County electoral history when it comes to voting for judges.
Charles, I didn't get anybody last time. We still reelected. I mean, think about
But the fact that you did that, man, you know, that finally somebody is taking the time to research and give people a guide on judges. Because, you know, I don't think, should we be electing judges?
I mean, I think we should be electing judges. But I think, let me tell you, there was a fight to elect judges, and that's why sub-circuits were created, because there was an old boy network that only appointed judges, and that's why we didn't see black judges. We're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. But you know, Charles, on the sleeper side, did you know that there are proposals by some of our fair-skinned counterparts to go back to appointing judges? Now, if they appoint the judges, what does that mean for black folks? Charles?
It means there won't be no black judges. Not enough of them, or ones that they want to do what they want to do.
Charles, I'm going to tell you, this is a love-hate thing. I love the WVON listening audience. I love this show. I hate the BS that they keep putting black folks through. Now, we got some internal things we got to do. But Charles, this National Teachers Academy thing, who is speaking on behalf of the black community? Who's speaking on behalf of the black parents? I get all the politics, but where is the refuge for black people in a sanctuary city where they are calling out for everybody to protect and help people who aren't even from here? What is the sanctuary for our black babies? Even the good ones. Not the 6-year-olds that's walking around with guns.
I know who they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be the people that we elect in a democratic society. Charles, you elect your leaders.
So we got to start electing. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned in to the WVON Morning Show. Now, don't let my somber tone get you down. Because really, I'm excited about tomorrow. We have the Taste of WVON. We shutting down 87th Street. They said from Greenwood. What they say, from Greenwood to Maryland. I'm saying we shutting it down from the Dan Ryan to Stony Island, because there's going to be so many black folks having a good time partying in Charles. You gonna be riding one of them horses that's going up and down 87th Street? Boy, I'm telling you, until Monday, well, actually till tomorrow. I'm your man, Mays Jackson. For Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, for Sonia Escobar, our musical director, and for my main man, Charles Thomas. I want to thank you for being with us this week. And we probably done ticked a few people off. But, champ, you can tell them. They don't like it? Mays said, we out of here. Peace.
WVON.com, the website. Check it out. The Talk of Chicago.
How y'all feeling out there? I hope you all enjoyed the show. Had a great time. The energy was good. I lost my headphones bag.
Man, just like they came and took Doma T. Come take this with her.
So, Sonny.
She's good.
She's very good, and she's attentive, and she pays attention, and she's, you know, to me, she's got it. Like, she hears the music, she hears the cues, she's looking for the music. All right, y'all, it's been a great weekend. I'm going to pick up the What's in It for the Black People t-shirts. Hopefully, if you have placed the order, I will get them to you. We can make a game plan to get those. After, hopefully we'll see you all at the Taste of WVON tomorrow.
We have to do that consensus.
No, we're done.
We don't have to do that.
Oh, we gotta do after the show, it's the after party. Peace out, y'all. I'm out. But we don't have to record a promo. Finish.